Fingertips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be here. It really is.
I'm the one that should say that. This is. It means a lot to me.
Thank
just
you,
so we
man.
know, we talked off camera a little bit, but just so you understand, this means a lot to me.
Thank you.
And I hope it's one of many trips back to the Boogie Street Studio.
Hey, look, you stuck with me, man. But I know how to dance in my boogie is nasty. You know what I mean? They might not be ready for it.
They're ready for it.
Yeah.
So there's so much I want to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And if it's okay with you, I think I probably want to talk about the main topic that's
Did everybody
out first.
Yeah,
And then
that's okay.
And then we'll circle back around. I want to really go into your history, your influences.
Please.
Music that you like that might surprise people. I got a bunch of questions for you.
I want all of them. I always get intrigued to see how other, I'm infatuated with brains. Not to sound like a zombie. But I just love to see how different people, how people work, how they function, what they want to know, what they need to know.
Okay, so make sure my phone is off here. We don't need the nonsense.
Yeah, I silenced it out too.
So, Pittsburgh Magazine.
Yeah.
You were up for Pittsburgher of the Year.
Yes.
And there was a lot of, definitely on social media, as far as I can see, there was an incredible amount of outcry leading up to it. You were the popular, forerunner or the popular choice, the
popular
people's
vote.
choice.
Yes.
The people's choice.
The people's choice. That's
in
a
my
good way
opinion,
of putting it.
In my
Yes,
opinion,
absolutely.
it's the people's choice.
Thank you.
As we know, though, sometimes the people's choice doesn't always get chosen.
Which sucks, man. It's painful.
What happened?
It's interesting, man, because I was telling somebody today that I'm not a sore loser. That's not who I am, right? I've lost. I was telling you off camera. I've lost more than I've won in this game, and I was trying to figure out why this made me so upset. And I think because I have so much, and it goes deeper, which we'll talk about.
Okay.
But I have a lot of respect for Pittsburgh Magazine. I'm a Pittsburgher born and bred, right? Mm-hmm. I'm from this city, like East Liberty, East Side. I still say Sliberty. Me and my friends used to meet at Babyland. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Like I'm a Pittsburgher through and through. So to me, this was I don't know, in a way, a rite of passage, right? Mm-hmm. Because even though there has never been a musician as on a single cover as Pittsburgher of the Year, right? I would have been the youngest one ever. There's not a lot of black men on the cover, right? Only 2 in the 34 years that they've done it. 5 that have shared the cover. I wanted to make history and do something special with a publication that I respect and I hold to a certain standard. And I think in this sense, I felt like they let me down. I feel like they let the city down. And it hurt me. It hurt me personally, and it became a situation where I lost respect for the integrity of the magazine, and I think that it was like a slap in the face to the whole city.
Okay,
and that's what I think made me so mad. I was like, why am I so upset about this? Like, this year has been the biggest year of my career. I've had so many amazing blessings and so many amazing moments in the city and outside of the city. And I've worked with amazing publications, Rolling Stone, MTV, right, Billboard, these national brands that are monumental to anybody, especially in music's career. So, when it comes to Pittsburgh Magazine, that is a local thing, and people were, looking at me like, why is that such a big deal, Frizz? You've done so much. But it's like, because I feel like my city got disrespected. I feel like coming from where I come from and being who I am, it takes a lot. It was a little harder for me to get the city behind me. Right?
Okay.
And it was a little more difficult when I got honored with FRZY Day. I cried, and I went home and I cried even more because it felt like at that point the city had shown me love back unconditionally. I've always been in love with the city. I love everything about the city. Everybody in the city. Everybody knows that I rep my city any chance I get. But I think to lose. Let me make sure I preface this with the man who won, Maxwell King. For one, congratulations, because I haven't said that yet. But also deserves awards. He's an amazing man. Is the history of the things he's done and what he's accomplished in 2 of my lifetimes. I can only hope to have the resume or to raise the type of money that he has in his lifetime. But because of that and what he's done, this is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about his lifetime. we're talking about 365 days. So you can't put 365 days up against 7,300 days. That's 2 decades, right? So when you sit on TV and you then say with a smile on your face that like, oh, Frizzy was the people's choice. Like Frizzy, people loved Frizzy. Everybody wanted Frizzy. And then, but it shows that you then decided to make another decision on your own. And you decided to pick someone based on his whole career, not based on his year. And you played unfair. And if I'm going to lose to someone, anyone, and it could have been any Pittsburgher, let me just lose fairly. That's all I want. I want to take the L fairly, and I'll take that L and I'll frame it and put it on the wall. To be considered for that is amazing.
Right.
But for it to happen so comfortably and to blatantly say it's not about the year, it's about his career. Then it goes, you know what, this man deserves a lifetime achievement award. In a way, you're kind of cheating him because he deserves a lifetime achievement. If you're going to give him something,
right,
then give him that, or at least let Philadelphia give it to him because he's done even more in Philly than he has here.
Right.
So, you know, I'm very thankful the city has shown me so much support and been so behind me even before this happened. And I could tell that it hurt them personally because for them, I represent them. I represent the people. I represent the blue collar, you know, hard worker from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the person who grinds, the person who has come from nothing. You know, I didn't come with a trust fund or a spoon in my mouth. I didn't have anything handed to me. I had to work hard for everything I got. And I didn't do the things that I've done this year and wake up the next day and be like, oh, I hope I get Pittsburgher of the year. Like, this is what I'm doing it for. It's like, no. But then if you bring up the conversation and say, hey, Frizz, we recognize what you're doing. We would love to possibly, you know, then that excites me because it's something I've wanted my whole life. Yeah,
that's natural.
So to have it, I don't know, to see the city in so much pain as well, it hurt me, and I cried.
There was, I knew something was going on because when you were kind enough to agree to do the show, which again I thank you.
Oh man!
And then we kind of teased it out there on social media slowly.
Right, you know what I mean?
But when I did that, I put a hashtag. I said that's hashtag Frizzy.
Yeah.
Just put it out there on ours, and then people were immediately. It was wonderful. So many of your fans, friends, people that have known you, supported you, contacted me saying, "Hey, this is going to be an amazing show. You don't know what you're going to get into. This is going to be. Finally, he's going to do a long depth conversation, and we're looking forward to it." And then when the announcement was made,
right.
Some of the same people saying, you have to ask him about this. This is a ripoff. I saw a lot of disappointment.
Wow. Yeah.
I saw a lot of I saw some hurt, but I saw a lot of disappointment. In people just contacting me. I've met new friends just from this experience.
Right.
So
it means a lot.
So that was an eye opener for me. And I wasn't sure whether you were going to, you're going to share your thoughts on this tonight. But I wanted to ask you because I was getting considerable Facebook, Instagram, emails, a couple text messages from people that I don't know, from people that are in your sphere, your space.
Yes.
So I want you to know that came to me independently, knowing that our show was coming up.
Yeah, well, I mean, to see that for you, thank you for giving me a platform to even be able to speak my mind, because I feel like sometimes social media can get lewd and it gets weird on social media.
Yeah, I don't know how artists like yourself even manage that.
It's just
I don't even know how you even.
Well, you know, I wanted to tell people, and this was something that was big, and I was talking to Ange back there about it, and my whole team.
Sure.
And so I grew up here. My mom's from New York City. I was born here.
Okay.
And since I could walk, and this is a true story, right hand up to God, I put my hand up higher. But I used to go to Barnes & Noble's, Hills, Walmart, right? All these places. I used to have my mom take me to Barnes & Noble's any chance I could get to go look at Pittsburgh Magazine. This is 6-year-old me. And I used to collect them, and I used to just ask my mom to get it for me. I used to run when we go to the store shopping. I would just go to the magazine section, and I would look at that, and I look like the Game Informers. That was my big thing, Pittsburgh Magazine. And to me, it blew my mind to see people from the same city I was on be on the cover. And it wasn't even like a color thing. It was just like, I just wanted to see who they thought was so important. Right? I think there's 300,000 people, close to 32, right? and to be like, wow, out of all those people, like they picked this. This is amazing to me. So every year, my mom would get so annoyed with me because it just meant so much to me.
Sure.
To see that, and it was something I've always wanted. I've dreamed of being from this city to have that moment.
Well, it's an honor.
It is.
Well, it should be.
It should be. Right.
I can remember Barry Bonds being on there. I want to say it was 88, 89, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me, being a sports fan and a baseball fan. And it was a prestigious thing.
Yeah, it
Even
was.
Back then, it was.
That's what I'm saying. It's big. It's a staple of the city. I feel like, but because of that, you now hold yourself to a high standard. You are the voice of the city at this point. And I sit down to myself, and this happens, and I get angry, and she's with me, and people are blowing up my phone when it happens. And shout out to Pittsburgh Today Live for also not only giving them a platform to announce it and making it even a bigger thing, but also you one of the announcers on there, which is the clip I posted. She even responded shockingly. She was like, "Oh, well, I guess it's not a year award," because she was surprised that was their response. They said, "Well, what did we caliber it off?" And they were like, "Oh, well, it's not about his year; it's about his decades." And they're like, "Well, this is a year award, right?" I mean, so it got really weird on air. So shout out to them for even bringing that up. But that's what it was all about for me. So then I sit here now and I see people messaging me, and I'm getting calls about people telling me that, I don't know, for some reason thinking I'm not grateful for it, or that I think he doesn't deserve it, or well, Frizzy, you've had an amazing year. Why are you complaining about this, right? And it's like, I need you to understand that this is something special to me, but not only for me, it's for the city. I can sit here and I can name you a few Pittsburghers off the top that I know deserve it more than me, right? There's teachers that I know that go to school in 0-degree weather every single day to go teach the youth, to bring them up and get paid less than minimum wage, right? There's a Jewish synagogue that spent a year recovering from what they've been through in the fight for that. There's a mother that's literally still mourning over a son that she lost while a cop gets acquitted, right? There's people in this city that are born and bred here that did that. So what that statement did for me, and I feel like for the city, is what you then did, Pittsburgh Magazine, is you decided that there wasn't a person that was born and bred in this city that didn't inspire, touch, or glorify the city more than the man you picked that's not from this city. And I'm sorry, I disagree with that. I can find a lot of people that deserve that. I'm blessed and honored that I'm even in that conversation, that I could go to that comment section and see all those people who I've never met and who I don't know, or who I know don't like hip hop show that much love. And organizations, the Steelers, the Pittsburgh, the Penguins, the Pirates, like Pitt, like these places, Permane brothers, like shouted me out and really gave support to me in this place. And I was just honored. But what it did mostly is it showed me a lot of love. It showed me how much the city watches and views these things, and that we are one. So, though this cover didn't happen and this didn't happen and it can't get taken back, and it is what it is. Right. I love my city so much. This was such an emotional journey for me, and it was humbling to see how many hands were patting my back, and we lost. Well,
how many folks apparently have your back?
Right.
And that's it's interesting too, because the people's Pittsburgher, you're the people's choice. Yes. So that and again, it's like you said, it's a prestigious magazine, certainly in this town.
Yes.
The position of the cover of the year, the Pittsburgher of the year, is a prestigious title under their guise.
Right.
But again, in the end, would you not agree? It really is about the people.
It's about the people. Well, I think that's what we talked about. That's what made it weird, right? I get so defensive about Pittsburgh. Like, I'm so, like, I don't even like
when
people
you travel,
touching
are you?
Oh my gosh. Besides the fact that I have Pittsburgh literally tatted on my back, the whole skyline tatted on my back, I don't even like people touching my Pittsburgh hats. Like, yo, I see somebody online, like, I'll see Snoop wear a hat, and I'm like, yo, you're not even, like, really from here. Like, I get the, you know what I mean? Like, I get defensive about my city, man. I love the city so much.
Right.
But that's what makes me mad. Don't tease my people, right? Don't make us think that we have a choice. Don't say, who do you want to be? Yeah. It didn't even start with who do you think should be. It was who do you want? They asked it like twice. And I think it was funny, I was talking to some people that were former Pittsburghers of the year. I won't say their names, but they were like, wow, you are the first one we've seen campaign for it. Like, we've never seen somebody go like, I want this. And then actually when you do the research, you're like, oh, he he deserves it. Like, this is...
Well, the commentator on Pittsburgh Live today, and I apologize not having her name. I think...
It's Michaelin. Yeah.
Mike. Okay. And she said, was it a Pompiani sitting next to her? Was that the...
Yes, it was. Both my girls.
Yeah. And, yeah, they're very good at what they do.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
They are. Absolutely.
They're amazing.
But... she said, and I almost can quote this, and if I get it wrong, please tell me.
You.
But she said, Harvey Daniels, Frizzy, there are so many people that love this guy and want this guy to win. So she says this, and then
it was actually the Pittsburgher. It was the Pittsburgh Magazine guy who said it.
You're right, correct.
Yes.
And then he goes, and it was so weird because then he said, well, but they didn't win it.
Right. It was like, what?
It was like, you just invalidated the comment that was made.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight here. I'm just saying,
it was
as
weird.
a person watching it, just came off
it
strange.
Got weird.
That's
why I posted
it. Got weird. It got weird.
Well, also,
weird.
I think
it got weird.
And
yeah.
I would be lying. I'm not. I told myself I was going to be truthful. I was checking the comments a lot because I was excited to see. But also, I think because I grew up with the magazine so much, and I'm a research freak, like I do that to see. I was seeing people, and this is something about also their readers, right? Their usual quote unquote crowd, that the people obviously weren't doing research, because there were people that were like, oh, Mike Tomlin, and it's like, well, no, Mike Tomlin won a couple years ago. Oh, Mr. Rogers. Well, Mr. Rogers was the #1 last year, and then he won 2 times before that. So people were like, oh, Billy Porter, who is amazing. Oh no, Billy was last year. So every name that these people were saying had already won except for me. I was the only one on the list that like hadn't won yet, and then my comments were outnumbering the ones that had won already, and then to the point where some of the people who had won were also endorsing me. So it became, you're right. So then to get on there and be like, I think he was like, well, people were saying Mike Tomlin, but he won already, and then people said Tom Hanks, he's not even from Pittsburgh.
He can't win.
Right? He's like, but everybody was saying Frizzy, and I think, and at that point, I had to get up. I was in the room. I had to like get up and leave because I think I was already upset, and I hadn't seen it because I think the impeachment stuff was going on TV, so you had to stream it.
Right.
So it wasn't until people.
Were you in New York when this happened? Or
no, I'm here. I'm in Pittsburgh,
okay.
and then they started. People started texting me because we had to go on PTL's website to watch it live. Got it. And it's delayed. So people started texting me like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you lost. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't pick you." This is before we even see what happens. And at this point, I'm upset, but I'm trying to keep myself together. Then when I heard him say that, that's when I cried. That's when I got mad.
Let me ask you this question, and it's rather direct, but I'm going to ask it to you. So we have a couple publications in this town. We have the Tribune Review, we have the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, we have the City Paper. For what it is.
Right.
And we have Pittsburgh Magazine.
Yes.
Is Pittsburgh, yes. Is Pittsburgh Magazine truly, though, representative of the entire city?
It's not. And
let's just say it. Let's just say it, because to me, it never has been.
I think that's what makes it worse, because I thought that this was an opportunity for them. It was a layup, right? It was an opportunity for them. I mean, what, last month was the scandal, the August Wilson scandal, right? So they do the Pittsburgh Tomorrow, and they have no black, right? And then they actually had to put out a statement and ask their viewers, what can we do better? And which was very amazing of them to do. Like, wow, you're taking responsibility. What can we do better? And then in the comments was, hey, hire some more African American people, hire some more minorities. The thing that makes it even worse is that then you now have a chance to fix that. You now have a chance to be like, I've heard you. You know what? We're going to show you that we care about all communities. We want to bring in more of the urban community, more of the hip hop community, just more minorities in general, more, LGBT, more, Asians, more Muslims, more Jews, right? Everybody from these different categories in this city that merge together to make amazing Pittsburghers. We want to show them that we care about everybody, not just older white men that are over 70 years old. And it's like, you have a chance. So then don't tell us that we have a say, and then people tell you words, they say names, and then you don't, this person's name doesn't even come up once. No one can even guess his silhouette. No one mentions him. And the
silhouette didn't look like you.
Everybody thought it was me. Everybody thought.
See, I don't know. I didn't think it looked like it. I had a bad feeling in my stomach.
Well,
it didn't look like you to me. It didn't.
Well, we got worried. At first, I thought it was just at first I was like, well, maybe it's just a stock one.
That's what I assumed it was. Right. After I looked at that for a while, going, that's probably not right.
Because I'm like, well, no one contacted me yet, but like they'll reach out. Like hopefully, you know. And at this time, I'm still doing. I did some amazing stuff with Cuddles for Kids, which is an amazing charity. Yeah. I'm working with Guardian Angels, with giving dogs to vets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like we're doing these amazing things that are coming up, and it was days as usual. Let's change the world.
Right.
But then as I'm in these meetings, they're like, "Oh, did you hear from Pittsburgh Magazine yet?" Or like I'm with the Penguins, they're like, "Oh, did they call you?" Because everybody's just waiting.
It was an assumption.
It was an assumption.
Kind of expected it.
Everybody expected it because to them, it's a layup. It's an easy win, and politically, it's an easy win for you because now we get a chance to open up some doors. So it got weird really quick, and then I never, people notice about me, I never really get mad at stuff. I'm very politically correct. You know, I understand that it's a blessing to be able to blend the cultures, right? I'm good on both sides. I can sell out a show, the white demographic, black demographic, it doesn't children.
Well, one of the reasons I was excited to have you here was that you come across as a unifier. Everybody that I've spoken to,
thank you.
Everybody that I've spoken to says this is where his strength is communication.
Yeah,
very articulate communication, but very real.
And that's right.
And I've watched, and I did my homework on you.
Thank you.
And I'm not disappointed tonight. I will tell you, you are spot on. But one gentleman told me that I won't tell you who it is, but because FRZY definitely has a great reasoning ability, and he's very the voice of reason. He may be impassioned about something, but he's the voice of reason.
And that's where I usually live, right? And the fact that I don't even want to say that it brought me out of my character because I feel like it didn't. I'm a human being, but I'm a Pittsburgher, and it hurt, and it hurt, and I took it. I think this is the first time that I took it personal. That it was like, you made a decision. Like you guys sat there and was like, forget about what Pittsburgh says, forget about the achievements, forget about the lives that have been changed and touched and inspired. Like forget about these accolades over this year. Let's give it to someone that technically this year retired. He didn't really this year, you know what I mean? And that's nothing against what he's done. And you're actually supposed to get to that point where you retire. He should be relaxing. Sure. But I told somebody, and I don't know if this is true. This is just me being real. This is what I do, right? I didn't sleep well Wednesday night. It bothered me, and it bothered my mom because my mom took me to Barnes and Nobles every month because we couldn't afford a subscription, right? So I had to just go look at the magazines until we were done shopping, or my mom had to go pick up some stuff. Let's waste some time in Barnes and Noble so I can go look at these things. Shout out to Hills is where the toys are, by the way. But my mom cried because she knew how bad I wanted it, and I sat to myself and I go, if they pick me, does Maxwell King care? Does it hurt him? Like if they pick me, does he then go home mad? Like, oh man, damn, I wanted that. Like, missed that one. I don't think so. I don't think it even, I don't even think it bothers him at all. So then I was like, okay, well, what I need now, Pittsburgh Magazine, is I need you to explain yourself. Yeah. That's it. I just need you to tell me. Do you feel
the decision is, if I'm hearing you correctly, you feel the decision is broader than you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely it is. Yeah. Absolutely it is. I think it sends a bigger message to me personally because now my nephew that's 10 that's also looking at these magazines and looking at me on TV and seeing the things that I'm accomplishing, does he feel like he has a chance? You made the rule. Let's play by the rules you created. Let's play by the rules you created, and then if I lose, I lose. It happens. But don't change it at the last second because it accommodates maybe a fear you have. Right. Just have some integrity about it. That's all. Okay. So now I would love for you guys to let us know. Well, what is the parameters then? Right. What do we have to do? What does a Pittsburgher need to do to get to this rank? Let's make it very clear so that next year the person who the city feels deserves it actually gets it. It's bigger than me. Like now I'm out of it, right? Like I'm not going to get it. They're not going to change the cover. I know that. I'm not worried about that anymore. Let's just figure out how to make it better for the next person next year. How are they going to feel? What makes it good for them? Let's be honest and let them win. Like, I'll tell you one thing. This is and she can back this up if she decides to back it up. Editor. I don't think she's the editor anymore. Betsy Benson, who was the head of Pittsburgh Magazine. I think she's still around there. And she's amazing. Like Betsy is one of the best people I've ever met. And she, at this time, I'm trying to get Pittsburgh 40 under 40. right? I was the first rapper ever to get Pittsburgh 40 under 40.
Right.
And it was a lot. I went through a lot to get Pittsburgh 40 under 40. And that was a big deal. Especially for Pittsburgh Magazine, once again. But me and Betsy Benson used to have coffee in the morning. We used to just meet for coffee, and I would talk to her actually about Pittsburgher of the Year. And I remember like bringing it up to her and being like, oh man, like one day this is what I want. And this is, was this 2019? This is maybe 2014, 15 maybe. And I'm just like, oh man, this is, I know I'm not there yet. And she would be like, yo, Frizz, you're gonna get there. Like we would laugh about it, like, oh man, it seems so far away as a dream. And then we would laugh about it. So now for this to have happened, like I just, you know, it hurts me even more because I think back to those conversations at the table and being like, man, I made it to the point where I'm even considering the conversation. And I think that to me is an honor in itself.
You can take from that.
Yeah, I can take from that and run with it. But I see these publications the same way as I see people in my career that have told me I wasn't going to make it. Those are inspiring to me. And I'm a Scorpio. Right, shout out to November 111. I just passed out. I'm working on not being so vengeful because Scorpios are vengeful.
Yes,
but it's also,
I've heard.
Yeah, but it's also inspired me. It's pushed me as an artist. Yeah. So the people who told me no, or the people who said I'll never be able to do something, right? The typical story you hear has inspired me to push forward. Right. And I used to tell people that a new ear is born every day. So no matter how big I become, or I quote unquote think I am, there's always going to be someone who's never heard of me. So I got to make sure everything I say, everything I do, every new song I put out I treat it as if it's my first record that I'm ever putting out. So now this inspires me to the point where now I want you to see me everywhere. So okay, so I wasn't good enough for Pittsburgher of the Year. You didn't think what I did or what I accomplished or the lives I changed or inspired, whatever, wasn't good enough. That's fine. That's your decision. You make that decision. I would love for you to tell me what I could do better or what you would like to see more of, but despite that, I know I'm not going to get that. So now I sit there and I sit with Ant, I sit with my team, and I go, okay, then I'm focused on changing the world anyway. It just so happens Pittsburgh's a part of the world, but I focus on changing the world. So let's aim for that person of the year. Let's get Time Magazine's person of the year. Right? Let's do that. Let's do something that's going to change the world or make music to make the world spin on beat to a different rhythm. Got it. You know what I mean? And then the person whoever was sitting in that room with Pittsburgh Magazine that was like, when my name came up, that was like, nah, I want them to be like, now you're going to see it everywhere. Now, right? So
it's
now,
motivation.
It's motivation.
It's motivation.
Let's change the world. Let's change the world.
All right, let's circle around. Let's go back and let's do the comfortable deep dive.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, so this is what I love to do with my guests. I do. Talk to me about your childhood. So you're Pittsburgh born and bred here. Your mother was from New York, right?
Mom's from New York.
But tell me about childhood.
Man,
the good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, my dad's born and raised here. My mom's from Manhattan, Lower East Side, Brooklyn,
right?
And came here on a scholarship to our institute. And my dad played ball at Shenley, played ball at Kent, did some stuff with the Cleveland Cavaliers early in his career, semi-pro ball. So I wanted to be a basketball player. That's what I wanted to do when I was growing up.
Well, you got the height, pal. We took some still photos before the show.
You know what I mean? I'm out here.
I'll be
in the gym a little bit. You know, I can still shoot a little bit. I'm better on 2K than I am in real life. I'm rusty. But growing up here in this city, it's so funny because I'm what do they call it? An elder millennial. Right, like I'm on the cusp.
So many labels. Right?
I'm on the cusp of it. Where like I'm all about the hard work and the grind. Like I remember before cell phones and just calling your friend and being like, "Yo, meet me at the spot in 10 minutes."
Or
like,
leaving the house and your parents really didn't know where you were going,
right?
And they couldn't tether you.
It's all about outside. I just wanted to be outside.
Exactly.
Like that's it.
Exactly. Right.
But for me, it was this. It was all about being strong. I have a beautiful little sister. Who was 6 years younger than me, and just growing up and really knowing what it was all about. My parents are both college educated and held us to a high standard. It was like you got to finish school and focus and do things and be great, but also very supportive of whatever dreams I wanted to do. And when it didn't work out, right, and pushing me to know that, like my dad used to say to me, if it's humanly possible, you can do it. There's no excuse.
No limits.
No limits. Like we don't throw things at the wall to see what sticks. We are the wall. And and that was the mentality that I grew up with, and still hold true to myself today. And being like, you know what, this is it. I want to be the greatest rapper that ever exists. I'm going to be the greatest rapper that ever exists, and I'm going to do whatever is necessary for me to do that. And that's it. There's no plan B. You know,
no plan B.
No plan B. And that was the whole point. Finding something to focus. That's what my mom did. Find something to focus on. Be the best of it. Be the best. That's it. Okay. Let's push. You know. So that's where the mentality I grew up in the city, and you know, and I was really good with a bus pass too. I was really good with a bus pass.
What does that mean?
You know what I mean? I don't even know if they know what that is now.
I don't know what that is.
I still got some of the house frame that had the hologram. When you move it, woo! When them boys came out, I was the coolest dude at school. I was like, where you want to go? We can go anywhere for the whole month. I used to ride the wrong way on purpose. You know what I mean?
Well, so your childhood, was it sports? Was it also music? What was?
It wasn't music at all.
It wasn't. It was even like a music fan.
No,
and appreciate nothing.
Here's what's funny. My mom only let me listen to Will Smith. That's it.
Really?
When people ask me like who I'm making myself up, I think my personality is a blend between Will Smith and Jay-Z.
Okay.
It's Will Smith, Jay-Z,
okay,
and Kobe Bryant. Those are the three.
Okay.
My mentality, Mamba mentality. But yeah, no, I used to only listen to Will Smith.
That was it.
That was it. My mom was like, he don't cuss.
No matter what your friends were listening to, that was it.
We used to actually get into it at school. Like, we'd be sitting at school and they'd be like, yo, Biggie said, yo, Tupac was like, yo. And I'd be like, yo, but that Will Smith, though, you know? Getting jiggy with it. Like,
I
was
like, a little on the vanilla side there, right?
A little bit, right? But then you know what it did for me? It showed me. I was like, you know what? Despite how amazing Biggie is, despite how legendary him and Pac were, Will Smith was the first one to win a Grammy. Mm-hmm. So then I started to get addicted to
broad appeal. Right?
It was like, oh,
business decision.
This is business. Right. Wait a minute. Look at his crowd. His crowd looked like a rainbow to me. Mm-hmm. It was insane. I was like, this is real right here. Like, now I'm addicted to making history. So like, now how do we do this? Right? Like, so it was like, Will, okay, now Will's getting in the movies and Will's getting that. Right. It was big. It was
Gangster rap was not you were aware of it, but you just weren't that guy. So when Dre and Snoop, early '90s, Warren G, all those guys, it was like that wasn't on your. That wasn't.
Once I became Freestyle, the rapper, that was my name first before I became FRZY.
Okay, I
had to go backwards because I didn't listen to any of them. Jay-Z, my first gangsta album was Get Rich or Die Trying. Like, I bought 50, and I was like, oh, I was at Sam Goody's. Like, oh my God, you know, you used to sample it at Sam before you bought it. You were like, oh, this is. So 50 Cent was my first thing, and then that's why I always say, the rap, and I have a Jay-Z lyricism with a 50 Cent mentality.
Okay,
because 50 was the first one that brought me in.
All right.
Yeah. So gangster rap wasn't even on the radar.
Interesting.
And we didn't have cable, so it wasn't like I was like really, you know what I mean, I wasn't really watching MTV and stuff at first. And then once we got cable, it was like, California Love, like, this is Beavis and Butthead. It got real.
That's back when MTV actually played music.
Oh, come on now.
Videos.
Listen, now, let me just take a drink on that. We'll just look at the cameras.
They do. We're joking.
No, but yeah. So that was
interesting.
Yeah,
to me.
Man. Yeah. So it took me a while. A funny story. I went to 50 Cent. They had the Hard Knock Life tour, and we went, and 50 Cent was opening for Jay. Like Busta performed, a couple people, but 50 Cent was like right before Jay-Z. And because now Jay-Z's my favorite rapper of all time. That's who I'm striving to be like. But I watched the 50 Cent concert, and then it was over, and we were like, I was like, all right, I was driving, so I was like, yo, all right, we leaving. Everybody like, whoa, Jay-Z about to perform right now. I was like, I don't care, whatever. I ain't listening to Jay-Z. Whatever. Jay-Z's terrible. Let's go. I just want 50 Cent. They're like, yo, what do you? And
really?
Jay-Z's music starts. Everybody throws the diamond up right here. Everybody's like, ah, and everybody's like, oh, and I'm like, you either walking home or I'm not listening to this Jay-Z bull. You know what I mean? And we get up and we drive home. We beat the traffic, which was amazing. But now it's like, it's funny that now Jay-Z is I study tape. My sports mentality still follows me to this day.
And things always kind of come around.
They do.
Know? It's just strange.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird, man.
You never predicted it, right?
Never. Somebody would have told me that. Like, yo, you know you gonna be Jay-Z like protege. I'm like, nah, no way.
Did you think when you were young? Did you think you were gonna play basketball? That was it.
Yeah, I was gonna. My nickname in high school used to be KB because I used to play like Kobe Bryant. That was my thing. So they were like, "Yo, FRZY's gonna go like Harvey." Well, at the time, Harvey's gonna go to the NBA. Like, this is it. And then,
did you believe that at the time?
Oh yes, yeah. That's how I am in general. I think a lot of people that know me, she could probably vouch for this. That's who I am. Like, if I tell you I'm gonna do something, like if I say, yo, I'm gonna fly over. If I get to your house and you're not looking at the roof, then we need to reevaluate our friendship.
That's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy.
That's the type of standard I hold myself to.
What else? What other artists did you dig? Who else did you like?
You know what? I love that. This is great. No one ever really asked me this question.
That's why we're here.
I loved Mace.
Okay.
Actually, when I first started rapping, when I first decided, when we were like, oh, I could really do this. This might be something we do. My cousin Dante, who passed away when I was a teenager, he would like go out with these girls. Like, he was the cool one, right? So he's like, yo, I'm going out. Mace's new song, Tell Me What You Want. I need you to listen to it. I want you to write down every lyric. And then by the time I get home tonight, I get back, you better have it memorized. So he would leave.
Gave you homework.
I'd be at the house like, Mace be the man, want to see you doing good. I don't want to get rich, leave you in the hood. Like, I would be like practicing it, and he would come back, and I would have it memorized and then rap it for him.
Okay.
And he would be hard on me about it. So it was Mace, a rapper named Loon, a rapper named G Dep. I was really big on Bad Boys.
Okay.
And then these are the rappers that like I listened to that had like a smooth flow, real comfortable with it. They weren't too aggressive. The ladies loved them. You know what I mean? Like, it was that sexiness, and I was like, oh man, when I get older, I'm gonna go in the gym and I'm gonna get tattoos. Like, I think I had one tattoo at the time. I have 73 tattoos now.
Okay.
But at the time I had one.
We're gonna talk about this. I have a couple questions about this.
Okay, I'm excited about that.
All right.
I had got the and one guy on my shoulder for basketball.
Oh yeah.
And I used to like roll my sleeve up and cut the sleeves off of one shirt. I used to go to school like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, I was the cool guy. Like, what you mean? I could quote, you know? It's hilarious now. It's funny. Yeah. So, but yeah, Mace, G Dep, of course P Diddy. But those were the artists, and then always, no matter what, I will always float back to Will, because I think Will was still dropping the Men in Black.
Yeah,
he won a Grammy, another Grammy for the Men in Black.
That guy knows how to make money. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Just want him to let me borrow a little bit.
Yeah, he's always was able to stay on the cusp of everything and stay out of that deep end. Like, that's to worry about the stuff, right? I mean, right?
You have to, right? And that's what's interesting about his career is like the longevity. How does someone stay that relevant for that long?
Well, he also, I think, too, would you not agree, he took his craft very seriously. Not just the music part of it, then the acting. He really studied to whatever.
That's what you have to have, that mentality. It has to be sickening. You know what it is? You have to be in love with the journey. So many people are focused on
the journey.
They're so focused on the destination.
Well, you need to brand that phrase. That's
you need to get it on the t-shirt, man.
That's good.
I am not only in love, I am infatuated with the journey. Like, you know how many sneakers I go through?
Okay.
Like, that's the walk. Because now it's to the point where, and she knows this about me, everybody knows me, I'm really bad at celebrating. Because I can't stay in that moment too long, because I'm like that
myself. I get it.
Yeah. What are we doing next? Like, what's okay? Well, this is big, but like, what can we do?
So let me ask you this: would you say with you, the highs are really never that high, and the lows are really never that low? You kind of like you temper your enthusiasm because you don't want to delude yourself.
That, you know what, that's true. I say yes, but the way my mind works with it is that before I started this journey, I focused on not being afraid of heights. Right, that's all I care about was not being afraid of heights.
Okay.
So now the highs don't exist.
Interesting.
So no matter how high I get, I'm ground level. So now if I do that and I want to keep getting higher, no matter how high I get, I'm always looking up. If you're always looking up, even when you hit your low, if you're looking up, you already see where you got to go next. So I never look down.
Okay.
It's hard to acknowledge the ground. So you know what I mean? So it's like if you just focus on not being afraid of heights and overcoming that fear every time, and you never look down, then no matter how high you get, you're going to strive to be higher, because you're never going to be able to appreciate the ground you're on, which is
it's taking me deep here. It's good stuff, though.
Thank you, man.
Let's go back to the 90s rap. Ooh. So you had, I'm going to hear
Come on.
Eric McKenna talking about rap music.
Look, man, look.
I am in the deep end right now.
First of all,
I may drown tonight.
You understand how fly you are in that scarf, though? That's 90s.
You like that?
Come on,
man. We're talking about 90s rap.
I walked in and I was a little, don't put that somewhere.
Kind of matches. I'm like, I'm actually color coordinated.
You're coordinated up nice, man.
Thank you,
That's my boy. I'm proud of you.
I couldn't come here with a t-shirt and jeans for you. Come on now.
That's why I had to throw in a suit.
You see what I'm saying? You got me tonight.
Listen, this is a big place to be. I ain't messing this up. I want to get the re-invite.
FRZY said it. So So for the white guy who listened to rock music, but was aware of the rap scene in the 90s,
right?
What was the East Coast, West Coast thing? I know that Tupac was killed,
right?
But beyond the drama, was there a difference in styles and beats and music?
Absolutely, there still is today.
Because I dug Tupac. I mean, that really resonated with what I thought was just awesome.
Yeah.
And then when Biggie Smalls came, right. What he was doing did not do a damn thing for me.
It's
I don't know.
It's taste.
Okay.
Right. It's
preference.
It's preference. Right. And I think that's the thing that makes that's the thing about I think entertainment in general is that it's all it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Like parochial, or is it like
something like, I mean, it's all taste, right?
Okay.
It's subjective, right? It's subjective.
It is subjective. Entertainment is purely subjective.
It's purely subjective. So there's some people that, like, even to this day argue if Biggie was better than Pac or Pac was better than Biggie. And I always say that Pac was an MC, Biggie was a rapper.
Differences. Give me differences.
So Pac would rap with messages. I mean, he would throw metaphors in there every once in a while, but Pac was really a poet. Right, he was delivering messages. He was delivering stories.
Okay,
and Biggie was more entertainment wise, right? His metaphors, his punchlines were more slick and more smooth. His wordplay was more elegant. But it was also that New York mentality, and also just the approach of the styles. You see somebody like a Dr. Dre compared to a Just Blaze, right? Their sounds are different because of the environment they came from. The West Coast is more flat, it's more open, it's more wide. Their beats are more wide and more open. There's more strings. New York is tight, it's hard, right? By bumping into each other, so the snares hit harder, the kick and the drum. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
You are a product of your environment.
Okay.
So that's what these guys were. So you get that beat even to this day. You notice the West Coast flows a lot smoother, a lot slower. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. It's real. He's relaxed. He's laying back. I
think that's what was attracted to me. I think that's what I dug.
It's the Hollywood lifestyle, right? You want to go out. You go out there to relax. You go out there to hang out, to chill, to sit on the beach.
But if you were to say to those rappers that the New York were more hardcore and more real, they'd argue that point, right? Completely, right? I mean,
well, I think because bullets don't have zip codes.
Oh,
right. I could bring. So you say what? Oh, let me bring you some of this over here. I don't need a stamp to deliver this to you. Like, that's what it was. It was get down or lay down.
What was the catalyst in the 90s where, and of course, the violence didn't completely end, I'm sure, but it kind of ended, at least from a national media standpoint.
It's more unity, right?
Yeah. Was that like a mid 90s, late 90s thing? When do you think it kind of like subsided?
To be honest with you, I think Biggie and Pac really, their deaths really kind of made people open their eyes.
Okay,
like, this is real. Like, this is way more than music now. We need to stop it.
Yeah.
This is, wow, we're killing people over words. What happened to Sticks and Stones? It wasn't even Sticks and Stones, it's now Boulders and Trees. It got really uncomfortable. And I have a song called Witness that I'm putting out later this year that tells the whole story of Biggie and Tupac's death from the perspective of the witness who made the 911 calls.
Interesting.
And it was like, when that happened, I think hip hop took a step back. I think it kind of happens every time, right? We just lost Juice WRLD, and he just passed away. Nipsey Hussle, Ex-Tentacion, right? These rappers, Mac Miller, right? These rappers that are losing their lives, and it makes you take a step back and be like, wow, this is deeper than music.
Well, now we've kind of dealing with self-inflicted wounds now,
and right, but then it gets messy. It gets a little more difficult in the conversation with that too, because then you go, well, you're a role model, so what are you leaving? What are you leaving behind? Like, what are you teaching kids that is easy to do? And then now it becomes a point where I think they're getting scared. Like, oh man, I drink the lean and I smoke and but this the person who I learned it from died.
Got it.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Scared straight type thing.
What was there any moment in your life when you were younger that kept you from hard drugs, kept you from making dumb decisions? Because regardless of the race, we all are approaching growing up in situations that absolutely can make it's a why, right? You go left or right.
Right, exactly.
Do you remember a certain moment where you knew you had to make a decision?
Absolutely. It's my father, I grew up, my father was addicted to the crack cocaine.
Okay.
Right? And
did not know that.
Yeah, and it was something that I dealt with growing up aggressively. And seeing my dad go through that, and he's been clean for a very long time now. I'm very proud of him for that. But growing up and seeing that when I got to the age to realize what it was, right? Or growing up walking over crack pipes or seeing deals made in front of my house, things like that, right? And looking at how my dad was when he was high, the difference in who he was and how much he didn't care about us.
That had to be incredibly hard for you.
Oh, it was difficult. Or never knowing when I'm coming home and my PlayStation might be gone or the TV's gone, right? And my dad's like, oh, I had to do this, blah, blah, blah. He's lying and we don't know, right? But then I started to learn and I saw that and I go, that's why I don't smoke now. I'm like, okay, I'm never going to do a drug because I see what that does.
Wow.
To people. And somebody's like, some of my friends are like, oh, it's just weed, man. You do it don't hurt nobody. Nah, because I've seen the worst of it. I made a decision early. I was like, I'm never going to do any type of drug ever. Like, I mean, I'm medicine and Tylenol.
Sure.
But like, as far as like narcotics in that form, no. I don't even want. I have no inkling to try it. And nothing against the people who do. Have friends that smoke and hang whatever. Do what you do. You know, do you, boo boo. Have fun. But I know for myself,
it's not for you.
It's not for me. And I don't want to alter my mind in any type of way that takes me off of the path that I'm on and the idealism of who I want to be. I don't ever want to change.
So your vision is clear.
Oh, exactly. Especially going into 2020. No pun intended.
Pun intended. It was a damn good one. Bars. Damn good one.
Yeah, but no, I don't. I never. Why put on blurry glasses on purpose? Like why? Oh, I walked into a wall. That's funny. That's not funny. Why would I want to do that? So that's why even when I drink, cool, but I'm never pissy drunk. You know what I mean? Like I never take myself. I'm never gonna let something change my character when my future's drawn out so clear.
So, what is your thoughts on legalization? Do you hear me out? Not the decision now to do it.
Okay, right.
Because we can talk about that. But what do you think is going to? Where do you think that's going to take us as a society?
I hope that. It's funny. I want people to have freedom to do whatever they want. I think that's first and foremost. Unfortunately, though, we have to be honest with ourselves. There's people in the world that are dumb. And there's people in the world that'll mess it up for everybody, right? There could be one person that does something and 1,000 other people do it the right way, and this one person messes it up, and then it changes everything for everyone. I want people to have the options to be their own genius, if that makes sense, and make decisions that's best for them. I can't tell somebody that this is not good. I know a lot of people that medical marijuana helps, and it really changes lives and helps stop pain and things like that. I know some people who have anxiety and depression and deal with that, and it helps them with that, and they deserve to be able to get that and help that without any obstacles. I'm very what's the word? I have no patience for people that abuse it. I think for me personally as an artist, I don't like when artists go, well, I can't record without doing it. And it's not like it's anxiety or anything, because if that's the case, then that's different. That's a different conversation.
It's a medical condition.
It's a medical condition, right? No, they're just like, yo, I can't function as an artist if I don't smoke weed.
Do you hear that a lot?
More so in the young community. I mean, the young artists now. The younger, right? I'm saying it like I'm old head. The younger artists.
He might be.
Yeah, right. Right? You know what I mean? They saw the grades in the one vote. But I think it's because it's an out. Because what I've seen a lot of is the artists do it, and then they go, if they can't think of something, they blame it on the weed. They're like, oh man, that weed was so strong, I can't create. That's interesting. But then if they don't have weed, they're like, oh, I can't create without weed. Like I can't do it. And then it becomes a situation where now, okay, well then why don't we apply that across the board? I hate to use that. I love watching like ninja movies and assassins and stuff. Are you more deadly if you can kill a man with your hands or a gun? I'm worried about the dude that can kill me with his hands. Right. That's who I'm worried about, because anybody can shoot a gun. Sure. Anybody could point, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But the man that like has taken the time to draft that up. So then I see an artist that goes, well, I can't do anything without weed. So what do you do if that's cut off? Are you now not a musician anymore?
Right.
Like that's in you. Pull it out of you, man. You got that. You can do it. But as far as legalization goes, I want everyone to have what they want, what they need, and for them to be able to move comfortably in what they want and to make their own decisions.
In rock and roll, I know that out of the 60s and 70s especially, there was a lot of LSD, a lot of hallucinogenics then. And when I had the opportunity to speak to some of those folks later in life, And I would always bring it up. I said, so, was this song really written under LSD? And surprisingly, they would all say, that's a myth.
Right.
We create all this creativity on acid or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No, that just made you stupid.
Yeah.
We couldn't function.
Right.
Those small moments of clarity we did have when we weren't using, that's where we were creative.
Right.
So it's a misnomer, I think.
It really is. It really is. And that's the thing that's funny. You also see artists that like started their careers like that and then stopped, right? Like they eventually stopped and they're still legends. They still are who they are. Yeah. I think nowadays, unfortunately, we're mixing stuff with so much stuff. Stuff is getting laced. People are not being responsible. Yeah. We're losing a lot of amazing, talented people because people are just unresponsible. They're not responsible.
When you see like the opioid stuff, but the broader concept of numbing yourself, are we more seeking that today than we ever were prior? The concept of numbing ourselves.
Yeah, I think so.
And why do you think that is?
It's because it's harder. Because
life's harder.
I think I think there's a lot less. We talk about PC, right? Mm-hmm. I think now it's so raw that and everybody's so sensitive. There's people that are very sensitive and there's people that are just real. But nowadays you can't do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't. It's so hard to be accepted as yourself. There's a lot more followers, and I think people would rather not feel anything than to feel what they deserve.
That's deep. It's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame because it's like, face that. That's why I try to surround myself with a team of people that face it. And they deal with stuff to help it out and move it. Ange is part of my team. She's an amazing part of my team, and she helps me become a better person because there's times where I don't, as an artist, like I'm so focused on, you know what I mean? But I know that I'm going to get 100% the real out of her, but she also goes through things. She's a human being.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm there to soften the blow of the things that she goes through, especially not only as a minority, but also as a woman and also someone that's in this industry that's based on men and it's heavy in that. But now it gives you a good example that one of the most popular shows on TV is a show, Law and Order SVU, right? Mm-hmm. People watch and see what happens to victims every day, but then the same people will stand around and watch a woman be victimized and think and post it online before they help her. That woman, I remember, I think it was in Japan or China, at the art museum, a woman got stabbed and was bleeding out, and everybody took videos of her
with the camera
because they thought it was part of the art, and she died. And they were like, oh, this is amazing, right? And it's like, we also I feel like we're in the age of the participation trophy.
Okay, no question.
No, right? So now
no question.
Right. So I had to, and it rounds me back to the Pittsburgh Magazine. I learned how to lose a long time ago because you need to feel that to want to win. This is the difference between kings and soldiers, right? That mentality of like, I lost, okay, I don't like how this feels. So because I don't like how this feels, I need to feel it though, so I can tell, okay, I don't like this.
Right.
So what can I do to never feel this again? I can win, or I can work a little harder. So then even if you work harder and you lose again, if the blow hits you less, because you're like, wow, I did everything I could to do that. Okay, well, I don't like this feeling.
Right.
What can I do next to push myself and to get that inspiration? I feel like inspiration is a glass full of experience. That makes sense.
Inspiration is a glass full of experience.
You know what I mean?
Start writing them down. I coined some of these phrases for this guy over here.
So
it's good stuff.
No, man, no. So that's big for me. But I know a lot of friends that deal with depression and things like that, and it hurts me to watch them go through that. But I also am inspired by watching them deal with it. If that makes sense. And I also am inspired by the ones that want to help themselves, even if they don't know how to do it.
Okay.
And they know that that it's literally a medical thing that they have to fight against every single day, and to see them push through it and try to smile or try to
inspiring.
It's so inspiring. It makes me cry sometimes because I'm like, man, you don't. It would be so much easier for you to just stay in the room, and then the people who do just stay in the room, it'd be so easy to lock that door, but you don't. And the people who lock the door, it'd be so easy to not answer the phone. Like there's steps.
Got it.
So, right. So let's appreciate the footprints.
Got it.
Before we talk about where they're going.
Talk to me about your creative process. Like, talk to me about the songwriting, the lyrical process for you. I mean, is it really a situation where inspiration comes at any time, or can you sit down and say, today for 3 hours, I'm going to write and do it?
Yeah, both. All the above.
Okay.
I one of the things that made me that had me make a name for myself when I was named Freestyle was how fast I think, right? And how creative I am, and I'm an information junkie. So I know,
what do you mean by that?
I love to absorb information, no matter what. I even have this thing that I do every year. I learn a new skill.
Okay.
Randomly, I know Morse code. I learned Morse code one year. I did German longsword.
Okay.
Pittsburgh sword fighters. So I'm like a second level swordsman now.
So your curiosity is very fertile.
Always. This year, 2020, ironically, I'm learning Braille.
Okay.
So I'm just about learning these new things that I never learned. So I just love to absorb. I watch everything. I love space. I love science. I love information, religion, like different cultures. Like I learn everything. But it's so, as a musician, you could then say a word to me or anything, and I can relate to you, because that's the best way to relate to somebody is experience, and experience are based on words. That's how we explain our experiences, or words, right? Okay. So if I can know everything about any word that you say, I can now relate to you with an experience that you've had, even if we've had it differently. Right? Only if I know up and you know down. I know about down because I'm trying to keep going up. You know about up because you're trying to get from down. Like, right, we were going to relate either way. So for me now, that's my process. I love information, so I can think quickly. So okay, I'll give you an example.
That helps.
Just pick any word in the world. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be the most obscure word.
Okay, I got it. You want to know it?
Yeah, just say it.
Winter.
Okay, so when you say winter, what do you think of instantly?
I think it's snow, cold,
right.
Miserable,
right, right. So then when you say winter, to me, my brain then does this scan thing where it scans through everything winter I may know. So then at that same time when you say winter, I now figure out, okay, what's something that we can relate to together? What's something that I can say that isn't exactly the word winter that I can rhyme with that would make him feel what I have to say? Now, what can I also put with that to make it unique in a way that takes him away from winter, but also is relatable in the same sense? So now my brain's working while I'm talking to you. I'm already writing the rhyme, right? So okay. So I go, Eric, I gave you a word to say. You say winter. I say gloves. You say OJ, right? Then that rhymes. Now I've taken you 3 different places. Now you go back to the question. You acknowledge that I said the question. You said winter. Winter is cold, so we wear gloves. But now, what's the most popular glove you could think of is OJ, right? So then from that, right? Okay. Right. So then from that, now I can take that word OJ and make it anything.
Got it.
Anything I want to, right? And then relate it to things that connect with us later, so that I can go from OJ, and then from OJ bring up juice, and then when I say juice to you, now bring up steroids, which is a drug that we just talked about. Right? We just talked about drugs. Yeah. So my brain is putting these things together that I'm always...
It's like a daisy chain almost.
Literally, right? My gun is always cocked back. My brain is always ready to shoot.
Okay.
I never turn it off. Turn it off. So I can sit down and go, if you give me an assignment, like, I write for a lot of different labels. So they're like, hey, we need this for R&B artists, or we need this for a rapper or a rock star. I write for rock or country.
Got it.
Then I like, okay, let's do this. I can listen to this and absorb this. Or I can just be like, here with you and leave and feel inspired. My notes, I have at least over 2,000 notes in my phone of just like ideas I'll get and just drop them in my phone or get it.
They could come at any time. Driving, being driven somewhere, in a meeting, sleeping.
You ever just hum? Just hum
all the time.
Right. That's you're making a song. That's the exciting part, is you're creating something that doesn't exist. So no one can tell you you're doing it wrong. Okay. Since this doesn't exist. So you can't.
There's no rules.
There's no rules. So when you're playing a game with no rules, you win all the time. You got to think. And this is probably what kind of makes the industry oversaturated. I know you probably can relate to this even in rock, right? There's some songs you listen to, you're like, who put this out? This is trash, right? This is terrible.
Once in a while.
Right. You're like, I'm tired of these people working with the speakers not on. Like, this is terrible. But we live in a world where, on Instagram, for instance, one of the girls who has the most followers is a girl who just lays her face on bread.
That's interesting.
That's what she does. She just smashes her face on bread. And people love that. They love it. They go to the page and they just, oh my God, what loaf is she picking today?
That's so odd, though.
So with that being a reality, you're not going to tell me that I can't create something that somebody's going to like. Okay. Right? Somebody. Okay. So just your job is, or the goal is, to make everybody like it. But no matter what you do, somebody's going to like it.
Okay.
As long as someone's laying their face on bread, somebody's gonna like it. You can look it up when you're done.
I will. That right. Sounds ridiculous.
I might follow her. I don't know. Right. Maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe I do. Whatever. I'll never tell. You know what I'm saying? Stay out of my likes.
But you can actually, do you make time in your schedule to go to work? Like, I'm going to write today from 2 to 6.
Yeah.
No one talk to me. Shut my phone off. I'm going to write. Because see, some artists tell me they can't do that.
Yeah.
But some of the legendary bands that I talk to, they say, no, it's a. And one of these legendary artists once told me, Frizzy, they said to me, I'm best when I'm under duress. So if we have a deadline that I have to have so many songs turned in by Friday, I might wait 5 months, and the last week, all of a sudden now, I'll crank it out.
Yeah.
And he would always say, not the highest recommended way of doing it.
It's stressful.
But for me, it works.
Yeah.
So can you relate to any of that?
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm always on. So I write all the time anyway. I try to at least write a song or two a week, just even if I don't have anything to do. Now I'm at the point in my career where I'm traveling. I'm doing interviews. I'm touring. I'm doing press. So I don't have that luxury of just having time to just be like, But then sometimes that'll happen. If I know I have an interview at 6 and it is 2, I'm like, maybe I'll write a hook. Or a lot of things I like doing. I actually love beat shopping. Like, I love getting new production from producers.
Okay.
Or going online and looking at stuff. I love finding obscure beats from like YouTube and and having my management reach out to that production person and surprise them like, oh, I love getting lost in creativity. So yeah, I can relate to it as far as like having schedules, but that's what happens when you write for somebody. Like, you'll get, I write for a company that everybody knows. I write for a company called Cheer Sounds. Okay. That writes the cheerleading routines that you see on ESPN and that you see on TV.
Okay.
And at first it was a secret thing that I did, but now it's out there. There's commercials and stuff like that with me in it. But it's something that's so amazing because it's creativity. Sure. It changes how I write because I'm used to writing these hip hop songs, but now I'm writing these like 1 minute clips or 30-second, excitement things about a specific team, and 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 6 seconds, right? These that challenge you, and I love that. I love that challenge. So yeah, I can relate to the deadlines, but I also can relate to just pushing yourself all the time. If you never throw a football until Sunday, you're probably gonna be the worst player in the game. So I hope that you're playing catch with somebody. So it's just me. I think I'm always. I know this is gonna sound weird. It's gonna sound like a quote, but I'm always playing catch. If I have a football, I'm always playing catch with my potential. Okay. Always. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah.
Talk to me about the Steve Madden.
Shout out to my boy, man. That was. I'm still in all of it.
How'd you hear about that? How were you approached?
Oh, that's a good question, man. So I win the Emmy. And
we're gonna get there. See, you had to bring that up. That was next.
I went. Well, here's what was cool. So,
you want to talk about the Emmy first?
Well, no. We can go here. This is a great story, actually.
Okay.
So before, I speak at schools all the time. I have a thing called FRZY University. I work with a lot of young artists that I'm trying to help make their. I always say paving their way with pillows. Right. I'm trying to make their life a lot easier than mine was because it was so difficult getting to where I am. And but with that, I speak at a lot of schools. I've spoken at over 100 different classrooms in Pittsburgh. But now I'm speaking at a lot of Ivy League schools as well.
I saw the list. There was CMU.
Craziness. And I got invited to speak at Harvard Law.
Okay. What was that like, walking in there?
Listen, and that's one of the things I do. I never make a school pay me. They have to give me a hoodie. That's what I do. Don't pay me, just give me a hoodie. Okay. But that was like walking on that campus and seeing my name, and like they had a lunch with FRZY, and I brought the Emmy, and it was like, but that was scheduled before I won. So I was just like, at that point I was Emmy nominated rapper, right? So it was like, okay, like if I win, I'll go straight from the Emmys to Boston. Like that was the plan. No matter what, if I lost, I was going straight to Boston. Would have been a longer ride.
A little empty-handed.
A little depressing. You know what I mean? I would have just like had my hands behind my back, like you don't know. But it was interesting because I win. I go to Harvard. I was speaking at Berkeley too, because that was the third time I was speaking at Berkeley. Okay. So I speak at Berkeley, I speak at Harvard, and I'm staying in Attleboro with this amazing family. Shout out to Alan and Kelly and my boy Andrew. And they always just like my second family in Boston. So I'm staying with them in Attleboro, and I get a message about just being involved with Steve Madden. And I was like,
Did you read that like 10 times?
No, I didn't even think it was real. I was like, this is some spam. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, no, like you won the Emmy. Like, we would love to sit down and have a conversation with you. And I sat down, and I went from Boston straight. I was already going to New York to meet with Sony about stuff. Okay. And I was like, well, I'll be in New York. Like, we could sit down and have a great conversation. Shout out to my girl Nancy. And we sat down and had a conversation. And she just was letting me know that, like, you know, I was inspiring and, like, what I had done, and especially making history with winning the Emmy. It was a big thing. And I was like, man, you know, I want to become an icon. You want to do that as an artist. You want to expand wider than your music. And I was like, this would be great. This is good. And they were like, okay, we'll set up a meeting for you. So I'm like, okay. So I go back home to Pittsburgh, and I'm like, oh man, they gave me like a couple pair of shoes. It's like yo, and I was like, oh, you know, and Steve Madden, that's high fashion. I'm like, this is crazy. So I go back to Pittsburgh, and I never forget. They're like, yo, Steve Madden will meet with you. The team will meet with you in Manhattan. I forget exactly what day it was, but let's say Thursday at like 10 a.m. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm in Pittsburgh at the time. I'm like, I come back to Pittsburgh. I'm in the parade.
Yes.
Right. They honor me in the parade, and it was like the first rapper to perform. It was big. So I get back, I do the parade. This whole time I'm thinking about Steve Madden. I'm like, man, and I can't announce it. Like, I can't say anything about it. So I'm just like, oh, if this happens, like, oh man, like, well, you know. And so anyway, they're like, can you be here? So I'm like, cool. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna drive up there. I'm like, I'm not gonna fly. I'm gonna drive.
Okay.
So they go to meetings at 10 a.m. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna leave at like 9 at night. Get up there. It's an 7 hour drive. I'll get up there early. I was like, I'll change it to my suit. Like, I was ready. I start driving. It's the night of the big snowstorm in Pittsburgh.
Of course.
I get caught in a blizzard, and it takes me, from 8 hours, it takes me 13 hours to get to New York. Okay. At this point in time, the meeting's at 10. I get to New York at 9:50 something. No. Oh, no. The meeting's at 10. I get to New York at 12 because I'm stuck in the blizzard at 10. So I'm on the phone with Steve Madden. It's the whole Steve Madden team. I'm like, yo, I'm on my way. And they're like, okay, we're waiting. Like, they're being patient. And I'm like in the car panicking at the time because I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
plus you're driving into New York City.
Right.
Man.
I'm like, yo, they're going to cancel the meeting. I'm not going to get this. They're going to think I don't care. They know it's a blizzard, but like, I don't know these people. Like, this is New York. Like, they're not going to care.
Right.
Like, you know, forget an Emmy. They not. So I get there at 12. I'm on the phone. They're like, yo, still come. We got a flight though. You got to get here. I get to Manhattan. My dumb self, right, doesn't realize the parking is $40 an hour.
Almost impossible down there.
I drive all the way. I drive from it's in the middle of Times Square. I drive 7 blocks to find parking.
Wow.
I park. I got the Steve Madden shoes on they gave me. Oh no, before I get there, I stop at a gas station and I change in the blizzard. Like, butt naked change. Like, I pull over and there's like, it's just me and this big 18-wheeler. I'm changing in the snow. Socks are wet. I change.
That's great though.
I get there. I park 7 blocks away. I get out. I got these, actually the shoes I have on now.
Oh yeah?
Right? The shoes I have on now, I get them. I have them on. I'm running. I have a fur coat on because I'm trying to look fly.
Well, sure.
I have a whole
Steve Madden, right?
Steve Madden. I have a whole suit on. I start running. I like Home Alone fall. That's what I call it. Like, I slip because these shoes are not made to be running in the
leather
snow.
soles in his bad boy.
I mean, you would think I was like backwards kicking a soccer ball into a goal. Like, I fall, and it's New York, so ain't nobody help me. Bow, fall, whole fur.
Well, you're in a fur coat. No one's definitely helping you.
True. I fall. The whole fur is wet.
Oh,
everything is like. I finally run. I'm out of breath. I get to Steve Madden. They like let me upstairs. I'm drenched. I'm like wet. I'm cold. I'm like, they're like, okay, cool. They'll wait for you in the room. We go sit down in the room. The guy from Steve Madden comes. He's talking to me. He's like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, we really want to work with you. We think we have a campaign called Self-Made. We think that you'd be a great face for it. Like, you're a self-made man. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, man, thank you so much. They're like, you good? You all right? I'm like, wet. I'm like, I just fell. I'm sorry for keeping y'all waiting. They're like, well, wow. Like, you really care. They're like, but we have a flight to catch, so we got to leave. So the meeting was like 10 minutes. 13 hours.
You were there.
But I was there. Right. So it happens in 10 minutes, and they say it to me, and I'm looking, and I'm like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? They're like, we have to leave. We waited for you for 3 hours. We have to leave. Right. We wanted to, they're like, but they want you to come to Queens. And I'm like, well, what's in Queens? They're like, oh, there's another Steve Madden office in Queens. Can you get there in 30 minutes? This is from Manhattan to Queens. I'm like, yo, what? They're like, we got to catch a flight. Like, they want you in Queens. So I get out. I run back to the car. I get in the car. I'm driving to Queens. Nancy and them hitting me up the whole time. Where are you? Why are you? How far are you? I'm like, yo, I just got in the car. Like, I'm driving in New York City in rush hour in a snowstorm, trying to get to Queens. They're just rushing me. Come on. I finally get there. at this point I kind of have an attitude because I'm like, yo, what? Like, y'all so hard on me. Like, what's going on? And I walk in and literally Steve Madden's right there. And they were rushing me because he had to leave and he wanted to meet me in person to offer me the deal with Steve Madden. Wow. So I get there and I'm like, something, and he's like, you good? Like, you know, and I was like, man. And I had just watched his Netflix special. So I'm like seeing everyone who was on this documentary. I'm watching.
It's kind of surreal.
It was surreal. And he was just like, man, you're an amazing artist. I feel like you're going to do great things. We'd love to support you. Like, we'd love for you to represent the brand. Wow. And I was like, man. And shook his hands, and then the rest is history. Now I'm on a billboard in Times Square.
Incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible. What a day, though, huh?
Yeah.
What a freaking day.
Listen, if I ever get to the point where I get a made-for-TV movie, like, that's the trailer right there. Like,
seeing you run with a fur coat and falling your back.
So when you say the word winter, that's what I think
well,
of.
And here you are. Well, no one helped me up. Well, yeah, no one's going to help you. Who's going to help a guy up in a fur coat
with
in the middle of Manhattan? What, the homeless guys that come over and pick you up?
You know it's bad when you fall, and I don't even know what direction. All you heard was damn, like, because I hit the ground. It was like, it probably was gravity that said damn. Like, I hit the ground so hard, gravity was like damn. Like, you all right? You know what I mean?
So how did you get involved in the 50th anniversary of Mr. Rogers?
Well, it's cool. I have a great relationship with WQED and PBS already. We've done a lot of great stuff together throughout my career. They're one of the first big TV stations that really believe in me.
Good folks down there.
Great folks, man. Great folks. Shout out to everybody down there. Everybody. I was speaking at Berkeley. It was my second time speaking.
Is this Berkeley School of Music?
Yes, sir. Boston.
Yeah.
Big boy stuff.
A lot of my guitar heroes went there.
Yes.
Some graduated. Some flunked out and still did amazingly well. It's a pretty legendary school for a lot of reasons, but in the guitar community, just so you know, it's a big school.
It's huge. I mean, in hip hop, now they have a hip hop major there too. You can major in rap.
Did not know that.
My boy Ralph J, man, professor, teacher, amazing. He brought me in to speak the first time. It was amazing. Now me and him.
Was that surreal?
It really was. I still like wear my Berkeley hoodie all the time. He bought it for me personally. Like, we went to the store.
Wow.
And so shout out to Ralph, man.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so it's still surreal just walking on that campus, especially being a musician and being like, man, this is. I think for me that's kind of why I do it too. A little bit of nostalgia.
Sure.
Like, these are schools that I never went to or people said I couldn't go to.
Got it.
In the
and
song,
now you're speaking there.
in my song Comeback, I say I went to schools that weren't meant for me. To give back in that, and to give back and show what I'm meant to be, right? And to be at these schools that are like, wow, this is, man. We have Princeton's on the list. We're about to do Yale.
How about
Brown?
that?
You know, it's just like, well, thank you. I'm humbled by it. Like, whenever I get there, I'm like, yo, where's the food court? Like, we get it bobbing.
Where's my hoodie?
You know what I'm saying? Where's my hoodie at? It was like the summertime. They're like, you want a t-shirt? I'm like, I want a hoodie. I need a hoodie. But no, I was in Boston, and I was actually in Attleboro at that same house.
Right.
And QED hit me up, and they were like, hey, listen, this is Mr. Rogers' 50th anniversary. We're getting some celebrities that are from Pittsburgh to, like, you know, just do the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood song. Right. And just to redo it. They were just having people sing the song. And I was like, well, can I do something different? Like, can I write my own version of it? And they were like, yeah. You want to do that? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, can I get a beat made? They're like, you want to use the regular one? I'm like, can I get like a production made? Excuse me. And they're like, yeah, you could. Well, okay, we'll clear it for you. We'll let you like use it. And then they gave me the things. And then at the time I was working with, working with Studio 84. So Sherrod Evers, Darren Grant's the producer, who I'm good friends with. I reached out to Darren and I was like, yo, we got an opportunity to do this. Like, can you chop this up in the Beautiful Day? He was like, nothing. He got it to me like the next day.
Oh yeah?
Like I think like, yeah. Like the next, it was like at 10 o'clock at night, he got it to me that morning. Wow. Like 2 versions of it. And he was like, do what you want. Figure out which one you want best. So I got it, wrote it while I was in Attleboro. I remember sitting by the fireplace, like writing it. And it was great. Wrote it, and it came out great. And we came back to Pittsburgh, we recorded it, and then they were just gonna put it out. And they were like, oh, we do video, we're gonna do video of it. I'm like, well, let's do a whole music video. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, let's do it in Studio A, where they filmed Mr. Rogers at. And it was great, man. It was myself, Sherrod came through, my boy Daniel Carbayel, DJ Chevy. We did it and we shot it, and it was just like, you just do something that feels special.
Did you know that something was going on there? Like, did you have that moment when you were doing it? Like, this is really something else.
This is really cool. Yeah, we recorded in, like, even everybody that was shooting it, Amy, everybody, Zach, they were like, yo, like, oh, like Deb Ackland was even like, the head of QED. She was like, yo, this is dope. Like, this is something special. It just, the room felt like it, you know?
Okay.
And we get it done, we record it, and we're done. At this point, they shoot it, it's edited, they're like, we're going to put it out. We're like, okay, cool, done. Go about our trying to become a superstar, right? I'm back on the ground, back on the journey. And they hit me up, they're like, hey, so the video's doing really well, like extremely well. We have a conference in Vegas coming up, a PBS conference in Vegas. We're going to play it on a big TV in Vegas. And then we're going to play it at the Vegas conference and see how it goes at PBS conference. I'm like, all right, cool. That sounds great. Like, let me know how it goes. I can't be there, so like, let me know. Yeah. So then a week later, they call me back. They're like, the people in Vegas loved it. PBS loved it. Like, we're going to put it up for your consideration. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Because as a musician, I'm only focused on Grammys. I don't know. And at that time, I was still learning how the Grammy even work. I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, oh, we're going to put it up for an Emmy. And I was like an Emmy? Like a TV Emmy?
Like the TV show I see,
like what you mean?
The award show?
Right, like the award. They're like, yeah, we're going to put it up for an Emmy. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I called Darren.
Does that still seem like it's still out there?
It does. Because
at the time, did it seem that way?
Yeah. Well, as an artist, especially a musician, you're like, I'm just going to get that Grammy. Like, everybody just talked about Grammy.
Well,
for me, I wasn't getting into, like, if I get into acting later on in my career, like a Will Smith thing, that'd be great.
That's another question.
You know,
Good jumping ahead.
I'm sorry. You make me excited. But I'm like, man, it was hard to process, and at first I was like cool about it, like that'll be because they were like, you got to come to we're going to do an Emmy nomination party, and this is where everybody comes to find out if they're nominated, and they do it all around the world. Like, it's one like night, it happens simultaneously, and then there's a person that announces it. There's a TV that shows everybody else. So I was like, okay, like
closed circuit, almost.
Closed circuit, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, whatever. But as it got closer, like, I invited my whole family. Like, everybody was there. Family, my girl, everybody. You know what I mean? We had the thing, and when we get there, though, I realized, like, oh, if I don't get this, like, there's a lot of people in here that, like, there's a lot of, like, oh, well, at least you got considered. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
A lot of conciliatory comments are going to come, right?
It was going to get weird that night. So we're sitting down, and I start noticing, like, I'll be the first musician in Pittsburgh ever to be nominated for an Emmy. Oh, wow. If I win this, I'll be the third rapper of all time to win an Emmy. Like, it'll be me, Common, and Childish Gambino. Like, it started to sink in.
That's heavy.
So they give us a paper that reads the categories out. They're reading the categories. They get to our category, and they read who gets the nominations, and they read ours last. So I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh. And then finally they're like, yo, Sweater Sessions, FRZY, and everybody's like, oh, the crowd goes crazy. And, like, I just start crying. I've been talking about crying a lot. I don't cry that much. But, like, I was like,
I don't know. He's talking about a hell of a lot here.
A lot of ugly face, you know. I was like, oh, I started crying. And it sunk in at that moment. Like, and then it was like, I want this now. Like, and it was Mr. Rogers. I grew up on Mr. Rogers. He's a legend, an icon. And then it was cool to see.
And it's this town. It's Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm saying. Once again.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? It's Pittsburgh. Like, this is, I love this city so much. It's disgusting sometimes. And it's like, okay, we're going to bring this baby home. Because I think I've taken the Emmy to I don't know how many schools in the city. Like, and to jobs.
Bring it tonight.
I know. I said,
next visit for sure, pal.
Oh, you already know. I'm coming through in general. I'm just randomly going to call you. Like, yo, come outside. But yo, I got you. 2 hands, E. 2 hands. But yeah, so no, and then we went to the Emmys and won, and it was just like, wow.
What was that like?
It was unbelievable. I had a speech ready, like low key ready, and I was just like, I was scared because of hip hop. I was like, man, this is like obscure. It's Mr. Rogers, but like it's obscure. And everybody we were going against wasn't music related. It was all acting, which it should be. That's what Emmys are. Sure. So I was like, man, what if they don't pick us?
Where's that at? Where's the award ceremony?
So they do a couple different ones. They do the one in LA, obviously, which is the big dog, which is where we were too. And then they do one in Philly. It's all about the district. So they do one like in different, just like the Grammys. The Grammys all have different. Right. Which I learned that. I didn't know that. I just thought it was like all in one place, but they do it.
They have to do it regionally. They have to do it regionally. It's just too much. It's too complicated.
So that one was in Philly. And then, but I mean, the layout was crazy. The red carpet was crazy. And and then when we won, we were sitting at that table, and then all night everybody was like, yo, you gonna win. You good. You gonna win. And I'm like, yo, y'all talk to somebody I don't know. Because, like, don't hype me up. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up. And Darren was cracking up. Sherrod was there. And Sherrod's from Philly. So that was cool. He had Studio 84 here in Coriopolis, actually, right now. So, like, it was like a cool thing for everybody. And then we won. Everybody was crazy. I went up there. I felt like my speech was real cool. And then I think I was most excited to find out what happens when you go backstage. Because, you win, you're like, thank you. And then they go back and you never see them again.
Well, what happens?
I'm like, what goes on back there? They have like a gold case. You put the Emmy in a gold case and there's security and you got to sign papers.
You're supposed to bring it up tonight.
Yeah, right? I gotta get it. You know what I mean? The way
I'm trying to envision it. I'll pretend that I'm looking at it.
Oh, that's all you gotta do. I gotta bring it. I told you your pop collection is killing me. I gotta I should have brought that in.
That's all right.
I gotta keep up.
Next time.
That statue, I'm loving that thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's a little. It's it's like an oxymoron. We want people to talk, but then that statue's telling them to be quiet. So see, it's a play on. There's a little play there.
Saying the bars out.
See, I'm not a lyricist, but I can I
got
get the vibe. I got the vibe of it. Yeah, I got the vibe of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's what it felt like. It was incredible. It was incredible. I still look at it every day. I have it in the glass case. And now I'm in the pursuit of the Grammy now, and working on becoming a part of the Academy this year, and just putting myself as an artist in a place to win, but also a place to learn. And doing my Will Smith thing, right? Spreading it out as wide as I can and figuring out. On my journey, making my path as wide as possible.
Talk to me about performing live. What do you love about performing live?
Oh, man, that's the addiction.
Let me ask you this: Is it that actually? There's a whole experience here. I get it.
Yes.
But is it the performance of you doing it and knowing that you're just killing it that particular night?
Yeah.
Or is it really part of the fan adulation coming back at you?
Oh, it's part of it. It's part of the love, the getting it back, to see it. The first time I performed a show in the crowd, rap my lyrics back, I was like, yeah, what is this feeling? I started my dining room writing this, and now they're like, FRZY, and I'm like, oh man, you're not gonna get me off stage all night, and I'm so energetic on stage.
Was that a big moment for you? Because Paul Stanley of Kiss told me that he wrote a song. He knew they were onto something, like in the mid '70s, where they were playing some big hall, and he's like, couldn't believe there was that many people that were playing for them. Yeah. And they're singing the lyrics. And he goes, I wrote this song on my dirty sofa in my apartment in Lower Manhattan that I barely could pay my rent on. And now these 8,000 people are singing it back to me.
Song.
So did you have that moment?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I had that. For me, it was that moment, but before that was the hands up. Everybody put your hands in the air. And you see just the command. You see
is there a little bit of power that goes with that?
Oh, there's a lot of power that goes into it. I think that's what makes it so addicting. You're like, this many people trust me. I think that's what it more feels like. They trust that I'm not wasting their time. And they pay money to
to do it.
To do it. Yeah. They pay money to come rock with me. They're looking for a show tonight.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I'm so addicted to Jay-Z. I have from my sports background, I've recorded every single Jay-Z video, every single Jay-Z interview, every single Jay-Z performance ever. I have a stacked tape thing at my house, and I just sit there and watch it. I just watch them. I still do it to this day. I just sit there and watch. I think you saw it at the house the other day. On my YouTube, it's just I'll just late at night I'm done because I'm a micro sleeper, so I only sleep about 4 hours a night. Yeah. So I'll just sit there and I just watch Jay-Z clips, and I just one man.
Well, it keeps your vision straight, right?
It does. It does. Well, because it's somebody to pass. For me, I always tell my friends, when you're in a race and someone's in front of you, I look forward to their back more than their front, because if I see their back, that means I'm close. If I can see you, then that means I'm almost there. So that's what I do. I watch. When I won the Emmy, that's what I said in my speech. I said I never watch award shows, because every time they're on, I just go to the studio. because I know that everybody that's my competition is in one room celebrating themselves. So while they celebrating themselves, I'm gonna be in the studio. I know that night I gained 12 steps closer to them.
You're gonna work.
So go celebrate yourself. Have fun that night. Cheer. Do what you gotta do. I'm in the studio for every award show that comes on. I go to the studio. So I was like, so tonight this award is for the people that aren't watching me right now.
How about that?
You know what I mean? Like that's
how about that?
That was what it was all about for me. So yeah, so that's I watched his performances. I'm like, how could one man dominate the Madison Square Garden? He went no backup on stage, no dancers. Sometimes the band's there, sometimes it's just the DJ.
Right.
It's like, wow, this is what it's all about. So now I'm like doing the Thon Festival coming up in February with Penn State, and that's 20,000 people in their new stadium. And you know, we're getting a set ready for that right now, and I'm so excited for that because that's like in a state. You know, now we're doing stadiums, so it's like to be in a place in my career
a lot of people, pal.
It's so exciting, like, you know what I mean? Like, man, or to be sitting in the Steelers game and hear Golden it comes on, and it's like,
talk about that song. Where'd that come from?
So here's the cool thing. I got asked to do, the producer is Mason Tomlin, Mike Tomlin's son.
Yeah.
And also D-Roy, who he's a producer from New York City.
Okay.
Works with Jay-Z, works with Grammy Award winner. And I got asked to do Pittsburgh Style, right? The Pittsburgh Style fashion show.
Yeah.
Rock the Stage.
Yeah.
And Steelers Rock Style.
That's very cool. That's very cool. That's very cool.
And once again, they had never.
I gotta start hanging around this guy because he got all the cool gigs. He gets entrance to all these cool events.
Hey, look, man,
you gotta drag me in with you. You know what I mean?
Look, first of all, we look good together. We
do. Yeah, we're styling the night.
Blazer brothers. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. He'll forget me tomorrow, but.
You got a ringtone in my phone though now, so
I got my own ringtone.
You got a ringtone now.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
I've made it. Yeah. I got a ringtone in Frizzy's
it's
phone.
Run DMC.
Nice.
And Rock This Way.
All right.
A little rock and a little hip hop. You know what I
There
mean?
you
I know
go.
what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
All right. Right on.
Which we'll talk about later because I'm a ringtone junkie. But I'm really close with Kia Tomlin. Okay. And she had talked to me about her son is inspiring a producer, rapper, and with Frizzy University stuff. She was like, "Can you work with him? We've been working together."
Sure.
And then they were like, "Look, listen, we're doing Rock Steeler Style this year. Like, you know, we've never had a rapper do the finale. We never had, right? They actually don't have any performers do the finale. So I was like, I want to do the finale. Like, let's do something big this year. And I met with her, met with Greta Rooney, like everybody, Demetria. Right. And we sat down and they picked me to do it. And when we were sitting there, I had songs out. I think Comeback was out. Sunday Morning was out. And they were like, well, we want to do something big and party. I'm like, you know what? I should do something original for it. They're like, yo, would you do that? I'm like, oh, I would love to do it. I was like, me and Mace will do it, especially Mace being a Pittsburgh boy, right?
Sure,
Pittsburgh son.
Sure.
Steelers son. We sat down in the studios at Fire K, which is my first home, Fire K Studios. So we're all there chilling, and Mace is like making the beat in person. It's me, him, J Baby Smooth, another producer who's I work with. He was there, and Mace is like, I think he had made like 3 different beats in like 30 minutes. And we were like, they were dope, but we're like, that doesn't. Okay, yeah, and I'm not a big. People know this about me. I'm not a big Black and Yellow fan of the song. So I was just like, when I was sitting with them, they're like, we basically want a new Black and Yellow, but like
something different. Right.
And I was like, okay, cool. And for me, it's black and gold, baby. It's gold.
It's supposed to be gold, right?
It's not yellow.
It was gold.
It's not yellow. So I was like,
a lot of people in Pittsburgh feel the same way.
Come on, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, let's do something big. So he makes this beat. And he's like, boom, boom, boom. He's just, boom. And I'm like, gold in there. And got gold in it. Like, we were like joking around and stuff. We actually have video of it. And it came together something special. And then when we played it for them, they loved it. They immediately, they're like, we're going to put it in the promo right now in the commercial. They put it in the Steelers commercial. Fans is loving it. Oh my! And we're just blown away. And then D-Roy took it in New York and then added some new elements to it.
Okay.
And then having a Grammy Award winner touch your track is a blessing. And
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So he sends it back. Now it's something crazy. And Mason's like, yo, Mason's hype about it. I'm hype about it. Steelers are hearing it. They love it. Now it's to a point where we're getting together for the set and we're sitting down with the Steelers. They're like, well, what do you want in your background? You know, I do the whole King of the City thing. So I'm like, I want a lion. And
sure.
And they're like, we can create that. They created like a digital lion, a gold lion that was like biting down on me.
How cool is that, huh?
It's crazy. So, and then to hear it at the game the first time and to see the crowd react to it, like to look at Heinz Field. Once again, I'm a Pittsburgh boy. Like I used to go to the Civic Arena, and right, it was like I was like sitting there. Me and Mace, we actually have a video. It was me, Mace, and D-Roy actually at the game at the same time, and we heard it play. And you say it was like golden, and it do, and the crowd was like, ah! And they like spinning their towels around, and we were like, yeah, like we was like losing it. And then we premiered it on 100.7. So then you hear it in rotation. Then it was on Sirius XM. Then it was on Pandora. It was like Spotify's top songs. Like it was just like, this is something special. And then Ford reached out and was like, yo, we're gonna give you a gold car. We want to give you a gold Mustang for the song. I was like, what? This can't be life right now. You know, so it was just like to see all these people adapt to it, and now to the point where like other organizations are taking it on. Yeah. Now the Golden State Warriors and you know, like it's right, and you realize like, oh snap, they're like, oh, the Saints are listening to it, and it's like, oh, I guess those teams do have gold in them. That makes sense. They do, right? So it's been this incredible feeling of, like I said, getting love from the city.
And it's a great crossover for your love of sports, and right?
That's the plan. That's the plan. And then also to have a team endorse you, like they have the Steelers behind me, and to really hold me down. Like the organization has just been so phenomenal and so amazing.
Rooney family's pretty unbelievable.
Rooney family,
Tomlins are unbelievable.
Man, all of them. Tomlins, Rooney, everybody. Like
it's a special group of people.
Right, exactly. Jesse, everybody there. That's just they've held me down in a way, and we've become friends. And now I'm friends with the organization. So I have this person. I'm friends with a lot of the players now. So like I'm just and once again, growing up in this city. To like me and my dad on Sundays watching the game, like we couldn't even go to games. I didn't go to my first Steeler game until I was like 20 years old. You know, to now my song playing in the stadium. You can't. It's one of those feelings you can't make.
I mean, you're touching all. I mean, and then of course you there in the Pirate game throwing out the first pitch. Talk about that. How'd that happen?
That was something I was chasing. Again, it was another dream. Okay. Of like. Because once again, only myself and Wiz have done it, and Wiz did it, and it was a controversial situation when he did it because he did the whole fake weed thing.
I didn't know. I don't remember that. What happened?
He did it. He went to throw and he faked like he was smoking a blunt.
Okay.
Whole thing. So I was like a little worried when that conversation came because I know that the rapper thing was kind of tainted.
Sure.
And
unnecessarily
for dumb reasons. And it's like, okay, let's do this right. And like I'm a Pittsburgh boy. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates, Roberto Clemente. Like let's do this. Like
Stargell, Parker. I mean, you can go on and on.
Come on, man!
Right?
Like this, the legend, Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh
Andrew
man,
McCutcheon.
Right? Chris and Chris, amazing. She's amazing. She kind of helped set this whole thing up over at the Pirates, and she was just like, yo, like, yeah, we want you to do it. You want an Emmy, like you hold down the city, like we really want to show that support. We'll do it in a midday game, big primetime game. It was just like, yo, okay. So I practiced. I went to CCAC's baseball team because I didn't want to do a 50 Cent. Right, like a lot of like you go on YouTube and you're like first pitch, and you just which was by the way never type in.
I saw that.
I was watching the Kardashians throw it. I was like, yeah, and them things was locked in. I'm like in my head, I'm like, if I mess this up, there's no coming back. I'm gonna be a meme. I don't want to do it. I'm in the gym too much.
You don't want to become a meme,
right? So I hit up CCAC. Their coach Austin Long, he's a great man.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him. What's the odds of that?
Come on, it all happens for a reason. Austin's a great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
He met me out there like in the early evening, and we just threw the ball around.
Mind blown.
Like 2 hours, man. He was just like teaching me how to, because I thought I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna do it hard because I'm strong. I'm just going. And he was like, yo, you look stupid. Like you better calm down with all that tough guy stuff. So he taught me like how to throw it in form, and but it was funny because I remembered it. I felt like I was like a Jedi in a movie because like I got in the middle of the field, and then like everybody just got quiet. They were like, give it up for Frizzy. Everybody's like, ah! And like you look around. First of all, stadium's huge.
Yeah.
Especially from that perspective.
Sitting on, I imagine standing on the pitcher's mound has to be insane.
I looked around, and you have like the moment in the movie where everything freezes, and I like look, and like everybody just looking. They're like waiting for you to
the video of your face out there, it was like you were like
I was taking it in. I was like, yo, this is, and then you look around, and then my name is on the Frizzy is going across the digital thing, and you're like, and then you look back and the city's behind you, and I think that's the thing that calmed me. Was like seeing the city behind me, seeing the skyline, and being like, okay, this is my moment,
right?
And just. And I got it, and I did it, and I got it across the plate. It went well. And then hearing like, thanks Frizzy, and the crowd cheering, I was like, this is it was so hard to sleep that night. Like I was like on cloud nine. I'm still kind of floating right now. Like I got a little cloud left.
Did you plan like I like the I like the promo video, the vignette that's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. That kind of like is based around that.
The Steve Madden.
That was Madden.
Yes.
I was wondering, like, that came off so good.
Thank you, man.
And I was thinking to myself, man, did you intentionally?
Yeah. I had a plan. Like,
it was good. That came off really good.
Yeah, well, I'm good friends with Atmos Visual. My boy Anthony, Brennan, Blake, who now goes by Beamer. Right, he's amazing cinematographers that I work with, and they're just great guys. My boy Rob Waters, Grad Fight Online, like Christina from the Trib, like a lot of the people who we had the whole squad there. You know, my security, Josh, like everybody, we all kind of worked together to get that together because we had an idea of filming. And shout out to the Pirates for letting us come backstage and really film everything. Yeah. So they filmed everything, and we had like just a ridiculous amount of footage. And I think that the Steve Madden stuff had just kind of started. We had it, finally were able to announce it, and you know, I had the Barclays on. I know all the names of the shoes now, right? And so
good stuff,
right? So when I had talked to them earlier, I was like, "Hey, we have a lot of great footage. Like, can we put something together? This is a monumental occasion. I wore to shoot." They're like, "Absolutely!" Like everybody was. The Pirates like, "Yeah," because the Pirates had actually knew about the Steve Madden campaign before we announced it.
Wow!
Because I got the first pitch like a month and a half before I did it,
right?
And then the Steve Madden, I had signed a contract with Steve Madden, but we didn't announce it yet.
Got it.
So then the Pirates were like, well, can we say Steve Madden when we announce you? And then Steve Madden was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I can't even say Steve Madden yet. How the Pirates to say it first? And they're like, well, within a month and a half, I've announced it. So so it came together. But that was crazy because we were sitting on that. That had been edited for months now. I think the video we just put out had been edited for about 4 months before we everything got the green light to go out.
The video vignette of Steve Madden with you sitting at the table with him and the other folks in the campaign.
Yeah.
Where was that done? And when was that done?
That was done, what's this month? December right now? That was done in September. I say September, August. I'll say August.
Was that in New York City?
It was in New York City. Yeah, it was at a club called it was in Manhattan, the middle of Manhattan. That was Skyline. It was called Skyline. Okay. And they do it for every couple of years, whoever's the faces of the self-made campaign.
Yeah, I thought that came out really good.
It was great. First of all, we went up there. Everybody up there was great. Steve Madden has just been treating me phenomenal. Like, they really know how to treat someone. And we went up there. They had dinner, hors d'oeuvres, and then Steve came up. And me and Steve had already had a lot of them there. That was their first time meeting Steve.
Got it.
But I had met Steve already in Queens when I fell in the snow. So
wet fur.
Right. So me and Steve kind of already had like a good relationship. And I'm the type of person too that when I work with a brand, we work together. So we're talking a lot, you know. And so I already had a great relationship. So when we went up there to shoot it, as soon as Steve came in, he was like, "Frizz, what's going on?" We talked, but it was a good sit down to see where someone like, you know, Steve comes from. He comes from the bottom too, you know, Queens, New York, coming up, and then getting a chance to meet the other faces of the brand, and it was humbling because it was like, wow, we've all come from different places and we all have names for ourselves, but like we're all self-made, and this is great, covering music and hip hop and clothing and yoga and, you know what I mean, and real estate and people with HGTV shows. It was just great to kind of bond together. It was so exciting to see what they edited, and then for them to put that out, and then it just went up in Times Square at the Times Square River.
How mind-numbing is that? Like, you to be in time to have your image in any capacity in Times Square
is I to be honest with you, I couldn't even have dreamt that. Especially with my mom being from the city. Like, you know, like my mom is from New York. I used to go to New York every summer growing up because we used to have to go learn how to swim with my grandfather and see family. Sure. So Times Square was like a big deal. It was bigger than life. So to now have the name Frizzy up there was like,
I mean, if you think about how many movie stars, how many musicians, that have had significant amounts of success but have never had the vehicle to propel them there.
Come on.
Yeah.
And this is all this year. This is all happening this year. It was like overwhelming at times. Yeah. You know? It was a blessing, but it's also a momentum. It's riding that momentum. I always believe in riding that momentum and keeping it going and keeping the positive energy, but using those resources to do things to help. And, you know, Steve Madden has a lot of charities that they work with, so I'm doing a lot of stuff with them in that form, and then branching that out to different parts, and now growing my name bigger in New York, doing the stuff with MTV and TRL, and it just was, you know, taking advantage of the environment.
What does it mean to you to be a Pittsburgher? I know we touched on a little bit, and it was from a raw standpoint what recently happened. But what does it really mean to you to be from this town? If you were traveling, and you're in St. Louis, and you're having a cocktail, and someone says, so, you know, you love your town so much. You're tattooed. What does it mean to be a Pittsburgher? What makes Pittsburghers different? Just a little bit different.
I hate to sound corny, man, but we're made of steel.
Okay.
We can't be broken. To be a Pittsburgher means to be consistently solid, but also to be something that you can build off of. Okay. Right? I feel like using the word the Steel City I take that personal. So anything you can do with steel, you can do with a Pittsburgher.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We can build, we can cross, we can hold each other up, we can support each other. Resilient. Right? We shine. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't rust easily. Okay. You know what I mean? Hard to melt. Worth so much around the whole world. Right? It's.
Is it a work ethic or is it more than that?
I mean, the work ethic. To say it's just a work ethic would be an insult, right? Because it's a mentality. It's a lifestyle. I think being a Pittsburgher is a lifestyle. It really is. Everyone here relates to each other in that way. Like you ever see motorcycle people drive past each other making a head nod? Every motorcycle is like, yeah, that's how it is with Pittsburgh. Like we all have this respect for each other of the grind, of the blue collar. I think it's everyone from Pittsburgh has had their hands dirty, their fingers dirty at one point in time, right? Yeah, I feel like we have the dirtiest fingernails in there.
We might.
You know what I mean? But that's because we are hardworking. And we expect that from everyone around us. That's why when the Steelers lose, everyone hurts. We're probably the only city that we lose the Super Bowl and work calls off. Their schools are canceled because that hurt. Got it. We lose as a team. You know what I mean? We lose as a thing. So I think that's
because our identity's pretty. Our identity is one of togetherness. Would you not say?
It is. Oh, absolutely. It is. So if every person here in Pittsburgh is steel, right? Then our integrity is the architect.
Okay. Let me ask you about your traveling. I had Paul Alexander on.
Oh,
I had Paul on, sports personality in this town, broadcasting personality. Good guy.
Yeah, man.
Paul, good guy.
Come on, shout out, Paul.
He said,
young PA.
He said that when he traveled, he was always amazed. Initially, he got used to it.
Yeah.
That wherever he went,
thing.
They'd want to talk. I want to ask you that once they hear from Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, my cousin's sister is from Pittsburgh. There's always something that someone has a connection back to the city.
Yes.
Is that right?
6 degrees of Steeleration. Yeah, that's what I always say.
It's based around the Steelers generally, right?
No matter where you go, no matter where. I was just in L.A. I'll tell you, I was just in L.A. in a parking lot, and a security guard was walking around with a Steelers hat on.
Okay.
And he found out we were from. We started a conversation around. He's like, "Yeah, man, my cousin's from Pittsburgh. Like, I got my brother's cousin's niece cousin. Like, no matter what, somebody, you know what I mean? Like, everybody relates to, or they love the Steelers, or they love Tomlin, or they love the Pirates. So like." It's so cool to see. There's Steeler bars in everywhere we go. It was out of the country. There's a Steeler bar in London.
Supposedly, yeah. And all throughout this country, there's Steeler bars everywhere.
Everywhere. L.A., big one out there. It's just, but that goes to say something, right? You don't go everywhere. There's not a San Francisco 49ers bar in every city.
There's something. It's a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon. But that's why it's so amazing to be able to say you're from here. The city has created its own atmosphere. I feel like, right? And we are our own gravity.
Yeah. When you play here as opposed to playing in other cities, yes, you're obviously the hometown guy.
Right.
But is there a different feel for you?
It is. I think that it's weird too when you talk about the hip hop culture here, because it's, like I said, we're in this age right now, hip hop, sometimes even music in general, where no one wants to be fans anymore. Everybody's an artist. Everybody's a rapper. Everybody makes beats. So a lot of times when I was coming up, your shows were the audience was full of rappers. It was everybody waiting for the turn to get on stage.
Okay.
And you dream of being big enough to come here to actually have fans.
Got it.
And where I'm at now in my career.
Yeah.
So we sold out the Byam Theater, right?
Right.
So to get to the point where you're doing shows here now, and it's just it's a celebration. It's a party because you back home. I know I can sit there. I remember I'll fit 15 minutes in a set. I'm like, where's Homewood at? Where's Wilkinsburg? East Liberty in here. Penn Hills, where you at? Right? And you saying it because you know where those places are.
It's you.
Come on, man. And then I always save East Liberty for last. Where East Liberty? Which
is it East Liberty or is East Liberty?
It's Liberty. You got to slide out of... I got checked though. I got checked, man. Some lady was like, "We don't call it East Liberty anymore. Shady East now."
Wait, what?
I was like, "Man, if you don't go play in traffic, if you don't go get yourself a bus pass and get out." You know what I mean? It's Shady East. She was at Starbucks, like it's Shady East. I was like,
the Starbucks culture that explains it all.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the Frappuccino.
Which one?
Right, the secret menu.
Acting, is that on your horizon?
It's interesting. I say it'll kill me. If it happens, right? I'm a musician, so I think that's my goal, is to be the best. Like I said, no plan Bs, right? So I'm focused on being the best musician I can be. Now, if that brings me the opportunity to be able to do something in that field, I'm not gonna say no. Like with Will Smith being my role model,
well, he's one of the few that's actually crossed over and done well
on a major scale. Like LL Cool J has done it, right? 50 Cent's doing it with Power. Like there's other artists that's doing it.
It's not Will Smith scale.
But it's not Will Smith scale, no, right? So I mean, if that happens, I'm not gonna say no to that. I've had conversations about it and with some big people and people who love my personality or my image or how I look, right? And they want that for me. But I do want to make sure I establish myself as an artist first before I cross over to that genre, because I don't want anyone to get it confused. Like when I think Will Smith has been doing it so long, there's still people that don't even know he did music. Right, they're like
generation changes.
Right, generation changes.
The young,
right? But even still now, you see like
them sweaters, man, on that show with the bomb, dude.
Right. So like, I would love to have my own sitcom one day. I think it'd be great to do a new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type thing, or be in a movie. I think would be awesome. But I want it to make sense, and it always has to be Harvey FRZY Daniels, right? Like if I do that, like when I'm in my music, it's Frizzy, but when I'm on stage or doing this Harvey FRZY Daniels, like 50 Cent's Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson,
How do you delineate between the two? It's kind of a strange question, I know, but
yeah.
I mean, well, you have a stage name, and you have an artist name, but
absolutely.
you also are still very much attached to your real name.
Oh, absolutely, all the time. I think that Harvey's Frizzy's kind of too, but Harvey's a nerd, man. I'm a super nerd.
We're going there. We're going there. Don't worry.
I'm a super
Don't
nerd.
worry.
Man.
We're going there.
But they're one and the same. I think, right? It's the creation. I created Frizzy, so it's always attached to me.
Where'd that come from?
It's funny. I was freestyle, and because I could freestyle really well, that was like my name. And when I got my first demo deal with Sony, they were like, "Yo, freestyle's a dope name, but it's the word is it's too common. You can't like, no matter how big you get Google on it, it's gonna get weird." But I was calling myself Frizzy as an AKA because I'm a big fan of Swiss Beats, and Swiss Beats used to be like Swizzy on tracks all the time. So I was just like, oh, Frizzy, like it's fun. So it used to be my AKA, and then I spelled it weird. It was spelled FRZY, which didn't exist.
Right.
So when you Googled it, I was the only thing that came up.
Smart business.
You know what I mean?
Smart
Come
move.
on, Brandon.
Smart move,
creating
man.
a brand.
Smart move.
So we did that, bang, and then now it's on the Emmy, which is nuts. You know,
it's nuts.
Yeah, it's
that
nuts.
idea in the brain,
right?
So it goes that far.
It goes that far. So now, like, I got a new song coming out called ZY. That's like another AKA. The Barbarian is another AKA. Like these things attached to Frizzy. Yeah. And now they put King in front of that if they want to, which is exciting and humbling. But yeah, that's Frizzy now is the name and the mentality we ran with. And then once I start hitting, and it's also it being one syllable, I think makes it even easier to remember. You know, and it sticks with you, and the spelling
branding
sticks.
number one.
Branding number one.
101.
Come on, right?
Yep.
So learning your business portion, learning the business side of things.
Let's talk about the business for a second, because I am old enough to remember when you could get a record deal.
Yeah.
And they'd actually pay for your promotion and pay for your recording time and pay for all that stuff.
That development.
And development, correct. And you'd put out a CD, or if I go real far back in my life, an album. And artists used to tour to support the album sales.
Come on. Right. Now they
I don't want to say throwaway, but the music, and I don't want to say disposable because that's a horrible word to use, but there's an element of the business standpoint where the music ends up being kind of disposable because you're not getting compensated for it, and you have to tour to make money. Is that how it is now?
I'll give you the perfect word for it.
Okay.
Disposable. You said it right.
I hate to say that, though.
It's trash.
I hate to say that, though. I mean, like, it hurts. And it's upside down now.
It is. It literally is Stranger Things. It's upside down.
So do you ever in your quiet moments, whether you're on a plane, driving, sitting at home on a sofa, do you ever say to yourself, mother effer, I wish I would have been born like 30 years ago? Because my effort.
I do. My effort would be appreciated.
You have a penthouse in Manhattan, and you have a place on the beach in Malibu right now.
But you know what it does, though? But it gives me an advantage because my foundation is solid.
Okay.
Like that's something. So what happens is, is these artists, they come out and they're in like the hot spot, right? Like they're in this like little space of hotness, and then a lot of artists just strive for that little space of hotness.
Okay.
And then they get in that space of hotness and they think it's everything.
Okay.
But then that's it. And then they fizzle out and then they're gone. You never see them again.
Okay.
Ever. So, and then if you hear the song that you're like, oh, this is dope, and then you do research and there's nothing else. Right? They have no achievements, they have no branding, they have no...
It's hollow.
It's hollow. So then how much can you really be a fan? You can be a fan of one song, that's great. Maybe they get lucky and get two.
Yeah.
Because they have a feature or something. But other than that, it's gone. So that's why you see like so many Instagram comedians who become rappers, right? Or people who just like go online and put limes in their eyes to get followers, and they hurt themselves, and then they get followers, and all of a sudden they're a rapper, or they're a singer, or they're on-air personality. Like there's so many gimmicks nowadays. No one wants to just be who they are. Everybody's scared to be who they are because they want to be what everybody else wants them to be. And that's the thing that's messed up. So one of my favorite things to say is don't confuse popularity with success. People get that confused all the time.
That's a good one too.
You know what I mean? They get it confused all the time.
Write them down, Frizzy.
So it's like, so now I'm gonna do it the way it was supposed to be done, because no matter how much I fall, I always have something to land on. Mm-hmm. So now, so my goal was always to do enough that if you didn't know who I was, you felt dumb. That you did research and was like, oh, how do I not? I got that. So how do I?
So
not
you're
know
saying
who
there
you
has
are?
to be substance behind that
There
first.
has to be
that first hit. They got you there, like intellectually. You're there,
right?
What's behind it?
That's right. The moment, the wind. So, right. Anybody can create a fan, but not everybody can create wind.
Wow. Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Right. So let's do that then. Let's now make this foundation that's so solid that if I fail, or if I fall, or if I lose. Mm-hmm. Then I have so much to fall back on. It even brings us back to
there is something to fall back on.
Right. That's why I can get comments. Some of my DMs, we were talking about this on the way over. My DMs with some people were like, yo, you mad about the Pittsburgh Magazine thing, but you got right. They like list the stuff because to them it doesn't make sense because the foundation is so solid. Mm-hmm. But it's like, so I'm wrong for adding more cement? Should I not want to? Right. So so I'm old school, man. Let's train. Let's rock. But that's why a lot of these performers, once again, can't perform. These young artists.
When you go talk to those young artists at those colleges, what's the essence of your talk? Are you talking about the business end of music at that time?
Both of it. I'm talking about the business of it, owning your publishing and point systems and SoundScan and BDS.
So help me. We won't go that. Well, we won't go that deep because you're going to be losing me. But it's so. Rock band XYZ in the 70s puts out an album, and they're probably getting a certain amount of money for that album sales.
Right.
Back then, albums were like $6. They might have got $2 for this,
which is huge.
Right. So now you put out a new song tomorrow.
Yeah.
You get your publishing rights. Would that cost you money to get those?
It costs you money to get that right. Right.
Then what's the essence of your distribution?
Well, it's about understanding how streaming works now.
Okay, so let's have it. How does that work now?
So when people listen to your streams or they go and they play it, it just happened with Taylor Swift, right? Where she had like 10 million streams and made like $7,000. But that stream is like less than 1% of 1% of a cent, right? So you're not really making a lot on the stream. That's why a lot of the touring happens.
So it's less than a penny a stream?
It's less than a penny of a stream, absolutely. Cool. And I mean, it got oversaturated even with the ringtone era. Remember we had that era where it was like all ringtones, right? So because these things are so, and also because the numbers can get manipulated. Just like you go on Instagram, right?
Yeah, where's the accountability of it all?
Right. Well, that's why you'll see somebody who has one song out, never did a show, doesn't even know how to record in the studio.
Okay.
Has one song, and on Instagram they have 600,000 followers. And it makes no sense. You're like, yo, how is that possible? They don't even know how their music works. I've gone to speak at schools where artists have came to me and was like, can you please help me learn how to write, help me learn how to do this, and then we do it. It's great. I have great relationships with them now, and they had more followers than me, but they're coming to me for help.
That's insanity.
It's like it's weird how that works because the fans, unfortunately, some fans, not all, some fans are lazy, so they just follow. Oh, you think that person's hot? I think that person's hot. I'm just gonna follow them. Or, oh, that person.
So there's no integrity in social media for the most part.
It's
a vehicle to reach people,
right?
But the accountability,
right,
is where the issue is.
Well, that's why my favorite artists are ones that became popular without social media. They became popular before social media. Prince is a big one, right?
He didn't have a website for his lifetime.
How did these people become legends? But there was no social media. So now you can't tell me that I need social media to be famous. Like, you need it. Nah, that's not true, because now I exist in the space. Same with Jay-Z, same with Drake, same with J. Cole, right? Same with these artists. There's certain artists that you know that if somebody went to the internet, it's not how the internet works, but let's say it works this way. Somebody goes to the internet and just like turns it off. And it's gone. Are you still famous? Like, that's the question you have to ask an artist. That's why I ask them when I go to the class. I go, if I turn the internet off and the internet doesn't work, are you still famous?
That's a good question.
And that's the question. If the answer is no, then you're doing something wrong. Because the people who are the biggest artists, who are selling out arenas and tours and shows, didn't have social media to become big. Right? So, like, what did they do? How did they do it with less? And you have more, and you're relying on this one
thing. Did they
thing.
have radio? Was the radio a big part of it?
Radio is a big part, but now streaming is the same thing. People would rather work hard. Like, you don't have to really work hard to be on Pandora now. You could just pay for it and you're on Pandora. But like building a relationship with a DJ or building a relationship with the radio station.
You talk about 107.9, right? Is it 107?
Oh, 100.7. 100.7 is a star.
Who's your contact up?
Bubba, Mel, everybody. Like, all of them up there. Like Mark. I mean, the whole. And
I asked because it's a good crew up there.
Oh, it's a good crew, great crew. And they were the first one. Bubba called me when I won the Emmy. He was like, "Yo, we did a phone call first before I came back in town." And then he was like, "Yo, we want to have you on." And like, but I knew as an artist building that relationship with a radio station to now be cool with Sirius XM and these big stations, all around the world. You want to build relationships. It's all about relationships. The industry is all about relationships.
It's more convoluted now, because it used to be there was you'd produce an album, you're going to go on tour, you'd make the radio station rounds, but now there's just so many more venues for people to get your music.
It's so many more, but it's also, I think, oversaturated. There's a lot of toxic media. There's a lot of toxic press, and I think that people just like, oh, any press is good press. That's not how it is anymore.
It might have been that way 30, 40 years. Mick Jagger used to say whatever you want about me. Put my name in, but just spell my fucking name right.
But now you have to make sure. You have to be careful, because there's some publications and some podcasts and some radio stations and some news that are toxic, that have an angle. And if you're on there, it's not a good look for you.
So if it's a fake, like on the news thing, it's a lot of fake news. And everybody can prop up and be legitimate. I mean, we are doing something here that looks very professional. And I hope that we are.
Yes.
But if my intentions were not genuine,
it would show.
But for a while I could fool people.
Oh, you could for a while.
I could manipulate the system.
Yes.
Until I eventually get caught.
Right.
Right.
But that's the dangerous part about it, is like it goes from it's from the standpoint of somebody tampering with evidence, right? You can catch as many people as you want to, but then as soon as you get caught, everybody's out.
Got it.
Right. That's the bad part. That's why it's so hard to be a superhero.
If you produce a record that goes crazy, 10 million, let's just say, not even a song, the whole album, EP or LP, whatever it means anymore.
Yeah.
The CD. But it sells like 10 million copies.
Which is great.
So it's 10 times platinum.
10 times platinum, right.
Are you going to make any money? Like at what level of sales before you start making good money?
You go platinum, you'll make money.
At $1 million.
But it's about the branding. At $1 million, you'll make money. But what are you doing with it, right? So how are you spending it? Are you doing it? Because at that point, you should get endorsements. So are you getting endorsements or not? Are you making appearances? You get paid for appearances. Are you touring as well? Okay, now you're doing that. Are you doing interviews, right? So it's all about the media run. That's why you see a lot of artists on the same, like you see them all at the same time. Sometimes like they'll release a song, then they're like on this station or on Good Morning America, and they're on Saturday Night Live.
They're building their brand.
They're building their brand.
They have to.
It's the consistency of it. So for me, it was like, okay, now this record's out, it's doing great. Where can I do more? How can I get it more? Then you get a remix out. Then you get an acoustic version.
So that's probably what's changed since the 70s and 80s and early 90s to now.
It is.
Because you really have to think about your own brand.
But that's because quote unquote, everyone's an artist now.
Because there's easy entry because of social media.
Right.
Before you had to pay for a studio, pay for time, get an engineer.
Right.
But now, because of computer and technology, anyone thinks they're an artist.
That's why there's a lot of the most amazing guitarists in the world can't play Guitar Hero. because it's not like there's kids that have never picked up an instrument in their life but can play Guitar Hero with their eyes closed. Right? And they're considered, oh my gosh, like they are. Oh my!
The society's changed.
The society's changed
in a weird way, though.
Well, it's because everybody's comfortable squinting. They rather squint than to look at it in their face.
Is everybody looking for the easy way, easy fame? Let's wrap up our conversation today talking a little bit about social media.
Okay, yes.
Can we do that? Because
yes.
I would,
please.
Because here you are an artist that. Obviously, social media is a necessary evil for you, right? Whether you like it or not, and I don't even want to know if you like it or not. That's your own business.
No comment, right?
But ultimately, it's a necessary evil. You don't have to do it,
right?
But it's part of your marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Right?
In a way, you have to.
Okay,
right.
But that won't make or break you, though.
Exactly.
You don't believe it'll make or break you.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
So, whether I don't even want to talk about likes or followers, but do you think that has the social media and the instant connection to you?
Instant gratification, right?
Instant gratification, but also it's broken down the barrier between artist and fan.
It has.
So
it's changed celebrity.
There's probably some good in that, right?
That there is, because it's more personable.
But it's also not that great.
Because you're more accessible.
How hard is it for you to be honest with me?
Okay,
how hard is it for you to ignore criticism from people that might be living in their parents' basement at 40 years old and don't have a job? And that's a horrible stereotype, but you get what I'm going with this.
It used to be hard. Honest to God, it used to be hard. Like for me, I remember when I was with my old management, Mogul Moves, I just had like the stalker that would like just comment on it. It was just make fake profiles. Just anything I did, they would just comment grab me. And it used to make me so mad. We used to be like obsessed with trying to find out who this person was. It was like one person. I would get like so many comments of positive, but it was just one person, the same name. Like, I'm gonna find who they are, I'm gonna punch them in the face. Like I used to be like, it used to bother me so much. But now, not at all. It doesn't bother me at all because it's like I value everybody's opinion, for one. I know who I am as an artist.
Right.
And also, most of those people, unfortunately, have some dark thing going on with themselves.
Sure.
So it's like they don't like it. I've recently had a person say something really, really mean. I forget what it was, but they said something really mean. And I was like, I got time today. So I'm going to respond. So they were like, I forget what
that
they said.
That probably shocked them that you responded.
Did. Yeah. But what happened was I just killed them with positivity. So then after a while, because you got to think, no one wants to be a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Right, and most of the time being a bad guy is perception to a lot of people, which is not true, but for a lot of people, bad guys, right? Because to Lex Luthor, Superman's a bad guy.
Absolutely. Good analogy.
Right? So
we're going to get there before we split. Don't
okay,
worry.
good. I'm about to say, I'm going to pull out the tattoos. I'm ready.
We're going there.
Shout out to Disney Plus.
I haven't gotten that yet. I got to get that up.
You?
I have.
Come over, man.
I'm sorry.
Okay, see. Come over, look at the Emmy. We can watch
there you go.
some Disney Plus. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get
Drink
you
some
over.
Baileys. We'll be in good shape.
Come on, I'm taking it home. You can.
You better.
But yeah, so I was like, man, I'm so sorry you felt. They were like, yo, your music sucks. You wasting time, right? You should shoot yourself in the face.
Wait.
Yeah,
that was actually written there.
Written. So this is what I did. I go, I apologize that you don't like my music. What should I do better? And they go, what do you mean? Like, what you talk about? Man, you should just stop rapping. I'm like, okay, well, if I stop rapping, what would you like me to do? Can you give me a suggestion of occupation that would be? And they start to freak. Well, that's not. Well, no, I'm just saying. Or like that's what I like to do. Like since you're the expert in all music all around the world,
and the expert in your life,
let me know what I can do better. That's all I want you to do. And they freeze though. It's just like my favorite scene from South Park when Cartman is like bugging the teacher, and then he's like every substitute teacher that comes in, he's like suck my balls. Every teacher, and they're
remember
like
that one.
Yeah, right. And then the one teacher comes in, he's like suck my balls, and the teacher goes present them. He's like what?
He's done.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
So like a lot of these people, it's unfortunate they maybe hit a crossroad in their life, or they're in a place where they can't move forward. So they love to put their negativity on you. Misery loves company.
Yeah.
So they love to put that on them as much as they can. And if they can't be happy, I want everyone around me to be sad.
That's a human condition.
It's a human condition, right? But why can't that be the other way around too? I'm happy, so I want everybody around me happy.
Yeah, right on.
So if you come to me with any type of negativity, I'm just going to be nice. Somebody's like, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. No, I'll just say some nice stuff to you. Even if I might not even mean it sometimes, but like I'm just going to compliment you. And then that way, at least if you got off making me feel bad, I got off making you feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we're going to do. And you're just going to have to take this compliment to the face, and you're going to have to understand it, because no one I feel at their core, no one wants to really be a bad guy. You know,
I would agree with you.
Yeah, you know, they don't want to be hated, and that's why you see a lot of people change. Now, the ones that do are sociopaths, or
oh, they're out there.
They're out there. Jason is out there. Little Freddy Cougar, everything. But
so you're a closet nerd. I saw an interview. You said I'm a closet nerd.
Whew.
I love comic books. I love
heavy.
Yeah,
heavy. I got Wakandan tattooed all over me. Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah,
right on.
Wakanda. This is a custom Wakanda ring I got my boy Paul Michael Jewelry. Like, hooked me up. Paul got me right. I'm a super nerd, man. Everything.
So what the comic book thing goes, I'm guessing all the way back to when you were a kid,
all
right?
the way back.
And how'd that happen? Who introduced you to that as a kid?
That's a good question. Who introduced me to
you tonight,
huh? Yo, you got me. You got me out. You know what's so weird? I'm a Ninja Turtles through and through. When I was growing up and knowing my mom was from New York was always cool, because New York was like the big, oh my gosh, the big city.
And all the superheroes kind of like were
all
in
of them
New York,
came from New York.
And Batman is too, but they pretend it's Gotham.
You know what I'm saying?
You know it's New York.
It's New York. Or right now it's Pittsburgh, as they like to say. But the Ninja Turtles were really like my first love. And then Superman and Black Panther were big. That's why when the Black Panther movie came out, it was so big to me, because I grew up on that. But Superman, it was just
great movie, by the way.
Oh man, amazing. So it was just like the Spider-Man thing, with great responsibility, you know. With great power comes great responsibility. Right. So then I go, one of my favorite things that Spider-Man said in the new ones, the Marvel movies, which I have every single one, by the way, at the crib, like every single one. I have every Black Panther statue, like, you know, Pops. My Pop collection is stupid. That's why when I came here,
I don't feel so bad now.
That's why I was like a little jealous. I'm like, Rick James. Man, got the I
never saw
I didn't
one
even see the Rick James before.
I saw it and I had to grab it.
Cheers,
it only cost me like $8 too. It wasn't even like it wasn't even
expensive. I'm about to gift you with a Pop in here.
All right,
that's one of my goals, to have my own Pop.
That's a great goal. Knowing you, probably will happen.
Yes, if somebody's listening to this, whoever's watching this clip, can you tag Pop Vinyl for me, please? Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Plug. No, so Ninja Turtles was first, and then Superman, but it was like that superhero mentality was always like a big
good
thing.
Over evil?
Huh?
Good over evil?
Good over evil at all times. And it was just like, wow, like, to watch these people, you just save people, and it was just like to be a superhero was great, and that's why I try to do that in my everyday life.
Do you like the escape of it?
Yeah, I do. I like this. I like the storytelling of it. I love a good story, and I love the triumph. I like the overcoming evil and overcoming bad, and sticking to it, and for it to work out. Faith. I'm a big person of faith. Okay. So these superheroes, these gods among men, being, I guess, normalized in a way to seeing that they have problems and they have struggles, you know, and that's something that I started to recognize when I was younger, that's followed me even towards today about who I am, and knowing that, like, if Superman is struggling with who to save, and I started getting deep into the science of it, like how fast does he have to fly to catch somebody? He could break somebody's bones, and but I think. And then seeing something like Black Panther and what it did for the culture, and what it did for Marvel and Disney, and my nephew, I took him to the movie, and like when Black Panther got thrown out the waterfall, he cried. He was like looking at me like, why would you bring me to this movie? And you knew what was going to happen. And I was like, just keep watching, Harry. Just keep, So to me, it's big. That's one thing. Somebody asked me acting. I love to play a superhero in a movie. It's probably why I go to the gym so much. So, I'm just ready for the call.
Nice one. Look good in those suits, man. Come on, be honest with me now. I know the deal. I know the deal, man. I'm old, but I know the deal.
When you walk in, you got to first impression is everything. You know what I mean? I can't touch, but they looking. That's what I want. So, but no. So yeah, I'm a big nerd, man, and we do that. We even doing right now watching The Mandalorian. Doing Mandalorian nights at the crib, man.
Nice.
The whole crew come through. I'm a video game dude. I'm a video game junkie.
Okay.
Got the Assassin's Creed stuff tattooed on me. Like, that's all. It is.
You still have time for that?
I make it. You have to make it.
Yeah.
Because it is
if
an
you
escape.
Like it, yeah.
It's an escape. It gives you a chance. I mean, I do stuff like, shoot guns and bow and arrows and ninja stuff. I do fun stuff like that. That's also fitness.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like, that's just like the creativity in it. And also the music, right? Creating songs for different video games and learning.
Is that something you want to do?
Oh, absolutely. I want to perform at the Video Game Awards. Like, that's something I really
want to do. What about writing a song for a DC or a Marvel movie?
Oh, I need that. I want my song in Black Panther 2.
Because there's a synergy there, right? There's some synergy.
Black Panther 2 is coming out. I got plans. So you know, they hear it here first. My song gets in Black Panther 2. This is the first place I said it out loud. We're going to speak it into existence. You know what I mean?
All right, so I know you're coming back on the show with me, right?
Yeah, all the time.
But let me ask you one esoteric question as we close this down.
Okay.
So
we've been here for a minute, huh? Time go fast.
It's awesome, man. People love this.
That's why I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
It's good. Is this good?
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Good. Hopefully it's good to y'all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I
keep going.
I think your fans are going to dig it. Last question.
Okay, I'm ready.
A little esoteric.
Okay.
What do you, if it all ended tomorrow?
Yeah.
In a horrible thought, but if it all ended tomorrow,
okay,
everything ended tomorrow.
Wow.
Just, you cease to exist tomorrow.
Straight blackout.
What do you want to be remembered for?
That's crazy.
Not as, but for. What do you want to be remembered for?
Man, that's a good question.
It's a deed as opposed to image, right? A deed that you did, or your work, or whatever.
Okay, so like what? Okay, what would I want to remember for? That's a good question. I ask people that question all the time. No one's ever asked me that question.
No, I have tonight.
I think we're talking. You said a deed or something.
What do you want to be remembered for? I don't want you to answer me like, how does Frizzy want to be remembered?
Right.
Because there's that whole image.
Right.
And it probably is going to be exacerbated over time.
Right.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did you do? What impact did you make?
Right.
Based on actions. And now I'm not talking. You answer. I've given you enough clues, pal. I've given you enough clues.
Right. I want to be. This is interesting, right? I'd say. I think about having flashes in my mind of all these experiences and all these things that have happened and what has made me feel the best. Mm-hmm. What is something that's inspired me to keep going in music? I want to be remembered for someone that made everything better.
Okay.
Right? So anything you needed from me as an artist, whether it's a smile from listening to my track, or maybe you're sad and you need someone to relate to, or you're sick in the hospital and I'm lucky enough to be the person you want to meet, right? Mm-hmm. I think I want to be the artist that made everything better.
Okay.
And that I just want to be remembered. That's like, right, like I was born to be a rapper, dying to be a legend.
Okay.
So to me, it's like, I feel like, and this may sound cocky or may come off self-absorbed, but I feel like in my career, in my life, Frizzy and Harvey have made a lot of people smile.
Okay.
I really enjoy that moment of watching people smile, and I've made people smile before I was making right. And I've made people smile before I was making words rhyme.
Right on.
So I don't think it has that much to do with music as much as it does as being a good person.
Right on.
So I want people to know that I'm somebody that actually cares about them, and that even when I'm gone, the thought of me brings happiness.
And you have an advantage because what you're leaving behind is musical, which stays and permanent.
It's a universal language, right? So to get to the point where this is gonna sound so sci-fi, but like if everything ends tomorrow and I'm gone, and then 20 years from now we find out that there's aliens and they come. And
there's aliens.
Yo, there's definitely aliens. We can go deep into that one. And
we're gonna talk about that off camera. I have an idea.
Right, okay, I want that because one of my favorite movies of all time is Contact. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And the aliens come and they're like, yo, what does humanity sound like?
What does humanity sound like? Okay.
And I want my name to be in the conversation.
All right.
I want Frizzy to be in the conversation. That's pretty heavy. Yeah, man. So I'm trying to be, I think there's life out there, and if there's life out there, that means there's more than just ears on Earth.
You got to be the first interplanetary rapper, man.
Come on. Out here right now. Out here. What's a better, you know what I mean? What's a better way to learn the human language than to somebody that's professional in speaking it?
Right. That's
you know?
right.
So that's my big thing, man. I want to be remembered for not wasting time, for changing lives. You know, this is exciting for me.
Right.
It's to be in this position. I understand is a privilege that I do not take lightly, and I'm very humbled and very thankful for people like you and just fans in general for taking the time to even listen to me. You know, because we only have a limited time. You got to think about this, right? We only have a limited time on this earth, right?
Yeah.
So that means every song you're giving me 3 minutes of your life. I promise I won't waste your time. All I ask is you share that time in your life with me. I won't waste it.
Right.
I want to make it more enjoyable, and I wanted you to end it like wow, to the point where you listen to. You got to think if somebody listens to your song twice, that means they're choosing to give you another 3 minutes of their life on purpose. The first listen is like, oh, this song might be dope. Let me just play it and see what's. But now you like yo, FRZY I love FRZY. I'm gonna give him 3 more minutes of my life.
Got it.
So I'm not gonna waste that. I appreciate that.
Well, you didn't waste any time tonight.
Come on, man.
This
Thank you for allowing me to use it. Thank you, man.
This is really excellent, and I cannot thank you enough.
Oh, man, I'm honored, man. For real, this is great, man. You stuck with me here.
We're gonna do it again.
Oh, and again.
Yeah, and again.
And again.
And I got a whole nother idea too that we're gonna talk about off camera that I think will get you back here more.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so
this
much,
has been
man.
Great. Salutes.
I salute.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. That's right. Harvey Daniels, FRZY, at Boogie Street. God bless you all. Thank you. And we're out.
Peace.
What do you think?
That was awesome, man.
You good? Did we get it all out? Did we get it all out?
We got it all out,
yeah.
man. I feel cleansed. You know what I mean?
I'm about to get it out. So bad.
Fingertips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down, yeah.